Oh, yeah, it's Pacquiao fight week. Get fired up here with the BC, with the Rafe Boogity. Oh, look at that. The Manny Pacquiao aerated water can drink. There you
Right
go.
on. I got my my next level hydrogen water, which actually,
Yes,
Brian, you sent to me.
I
I
do. I
think
got
in my in Ferndale, Michigan, once upon a time, and I still have 3 of these babies left. I may crack one open for good luck today on the show, but I also got this because you know what I really need.
I got 2 cases of that Manny water left from the Ugas fight, by the way. The last time we saw him, and I can't stop eating these Pringles grilled beer brat Miller Light flavor because it's the way I was raised. Hey, it's inside the box. Why don't you get in here with 2 men at the same time? And boy, do we have a really big show. Yeah, Chinchilla. Howdy to all of our fellow box enthusiasts out there. Let's talk math. Let's talk box. Let's talk chicks not living up to expectations. Not that I think anyone should stop voting or cook more, but I am interested to hear how Rafe sees that fight, along with the absolutely fantastic Ring 3 card over the weekend at that tennis stadium. It may have been hot as balls inside that arena, but it was hot as nuts through my TV screen. But hey, we got a great show because it's Pacquiao week. It's Usyk-Dubois 2. Even that guy Bam is back at it. And we got a lot to talk about from the weekend that was. Conor McGregor's now showing his dong on Twitter on the regular. I don't know if you saw that. Did you see that?
No, I didn't. Is it compare it to Oscars for me, please?
I've never seen the tip of Oscar's spear, but I don't even want to
Have you seen inside the backside there? Have you got inside that box?
No, I haven't spread the what are we talking about right now?
You started talking dogs.
All right. I'm done talking dogs. Let's see. Lazy Bed says Box Boys bringing the dumbbells to the party, grading this thing on a curve. I know he's referencing the fact that McGregor was full mast with a weight wrapped around his rod, and that's what athletes do in 2025. Hey, box enthusiasts of all kinds, we're back. We're here. We're ready to go. Rafe Boogs, before we get Nostalgia City and open up the Pacquiao box again and remind ourselves of why we got into this, I'd like you to address this hater named Mesa Rod. Please get new co-host BC. That dude's in. Oh, come on. I mean, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? All right. Let's not ruin a good Manny Pacquiao comeback with that type of BS. Rafe, how in the hell are you? That's what I really want to know.
I might, same shit, man. I mean, I just watched some Taylor Serrano 3, so I'm trying to drink that off,
Hated it. We'll get into that. I don't blame Jake Paul or Netflix, by the way. Fantastic presentation. You got to give them that. That seemed like an electric affair there in MSG.
Yeah, look, when that's what you're talking about after the fight, one part of the evening didn't deliver.
Yeah, there you go. There it is. Whoomp, there it is. What is new in Michigan? You don't talk enough about Michigan, from my opinion. I know you're down in like the
no, you want to, yeah, exactly. You want to stay. You don't want to get too deep into that thumb. You also don't want to get that thumb too deep in unless unless that works for you.
DJ Serenity. Now, Taylor Serrano 3 was weird. It was. Usually I'm the one letting women down, not the other way around. Hey, aren't we all? And as many people come to this show, not just for the box banter, but they like to hear us play the hits. I've got a great co-host with me. He's a great guy. But what about those murders, right?
He was the best guy around.
What about the people he murdered?
What murder?
What?
How is the other guy? Is he missing like 4 front teeth?
Oh, let's check that out one more time.
He was the best guy around.
What about the people he murdered?
What murder?
Yeah,
it looks like he goes from here to about here with nothing.
Yeah, he lost those as when the 5 families went after each other, apparently. But I don't know much about the Cosa Nostra to be able to break it down. You're a New York type of guy. Maybe you can tell me about it.
Brian, you're a friend of mine, okay? So that's enough. That's enough.
Okay.
I
Are you
agree.
back?
I agree, man. I'm all in on the Tigers this year.
Are you really in? Are you
Yeah,
really?
yo, I hate to pay for sports, and I bought the FanDuel whatever account thing so I could watch all the Tigers games.
Oh, well, not bad. I like that you're assimilating to the Michigan lifestyle there. And yeah, those teeth, yeah, that we're with you on that one. Rafe, have you gone to a Tiger? You have at Comerica?
I have. I've been to several over the years. Only been to one so far this season. I like to go to the day games. You know, you get late, hang out, get a nice little I don't know if you could call what happens to me tan, but get a little sun, a little have a little bite to eat, a little drink.
Maybe prepare your horse for the war that's to come, right? Yes,
Mhm.
yes. How is your old dog Bear?
He's hanging in there. He's reaching the point in senior dog territory where I am carrying his ass around half the time.
How old is this gentleman?
That's up for debate. We adopted him in LA when they said he was between 4 and 5 years old. But when a dog's already mature like that, you kind of wonder if the pound is kind of shaped. You know, they're playing some Cuban games with you.
They tried to tell us Luis Ortiz was 41, and we're like,
he might have a little Luis Ortiz in it. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, I mean, but he acts like he's like his age on paper, which is 11. My current vet says 12. He's old. He's very old for a 150-pound Rottweiler.
Wow. Monzo, going back to the well on this Tigers talk, name our favorite Tigers of all time. I'm going to go with Cecil Fielder when he was fat, because he was like kind of holding the fitness together when he hit 50 home runs in 1990, and then he got real fat. Do you remember Mickey Tettleton when he had that all-star season at catcher hitting bombs? I was into that.
I was going to say Mr. Tiger in my head from the 80s. Got to go with Alan Trammell, right? Playing third base.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Kirk Gibson, too, in the 84 World Series hero.
No. We hate that. Now, I can't even say we for Detroiters, but like he gets no love here for the way he left.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I bring up Kirk Gibson, and that, like, I talk about hating Kirk Gibson as the guy who knocked out the 1988 Mets and Oral.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
But and then they're like, yeah, we hate that motherfucker too, and that's where we come together. Yeah,
I will say that still the toughest loss I've ever had as a fan was Game 7 of the '88 NLCS when Oral gave us Oral and ended that again. I hate Kirk Gibson for stealing the MVP from Strawberry that year when he hit like 26 home runs, batted like 286. But they're like, no, he's the most valuable. F you. Do you have any favorite Tigers today?
Today, look, Riley Green's having a great season. Torkelson, it seems like he hits a ball out on a rope once a game. Javi Baez, man, some awesome turns, these double plays. It's awesome, and Schoolball is awesome. I mean, like you get to a Schoolball game. I was hoping to see the game I saw earlier this year was Pirates at Tigers, and I was hoping we were going to get Skeens versus Schoolball. It didn't happen, but Tigers won.
You're speaking languages I don't necessarily speak anymore, but Musty Biscuits isn't wrong. When Jim Leyland rip those heaters there, when times would get tense. All right, yes,
Sparky Anderson also like doing the coaching until he was about 90 back in the day.
Definitely. Yeah, shout out good old Sparky. He was the architect of the Big Red Machine in the 70s as well. We're only dating ourselves more. And Street 1234 has started Radiohead's OK Computer this morning on his commute. So far, so good. I know we never talk music because your life is so rooted
for Raskin, man. What is this?
Your life is so rooted in 90s underground New York hip hop, right?
Not just New York. I was a real fucking nerd when it came to underground rap. Like I was down with a lot of West Coast, Midwest. Loved AC Alone. Loved Hyro. Loved from LA up to the Bay. So you could get me going on a lot of that. So it's not just New York.
All right. What do you listen to today for music? Because you know me, I'm like that classic rock / indie rock guy. What kind of guy are you? The kind of guy that stands when he wipes, or what? What kind of guy are you?
Yes. For one, absolutely. And then two, I would say a lot of Motown, a lot of old soul,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
stats. Yeah, I stylistics, OJs, I'm just getting older. I am getting older, but my taste is getting older faster than I
You
am.
need to recreate that scene in Boys in the Hood when Lawrence Fishburne's like, hold on. I love this song. Ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. Can you drive stick? I could learn. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, let's go. Okay. I'll
I
never
listen to
forget.
a lot of R. Kelly too.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Look,
that
man,
is.
you can't argue with some of that stuff. It's so good.
Yeah, I mean,
Except in the name of love. It's so
if the
good.
chick was consensual, then can you argue about the golden
I do not.
shower?
Whatever that. I listen. I wasn't really into the Mac Dre hyphy movement, Bay music. I was more of the backpacker, High Rose, Saphir. Even though I know they battled. Blah 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 blah. But and you definitely will not see me doing any of that crazy ass hyphy dancing or any.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Oh my
fair,
god, they look
yeah.
crazy. The people from the Bay are different.
That looks like hi-fi to me, not hyphy, but shout out to Mr. C on the R. Kelly joke. We love it here. I'll never forget sitting in the car with you on the drive to Fresno,
Hell yeah.
listening to them old R&B jams. What was the name of that show with
The
Mr.
Art
Bell?
LeBeau connection, man. Come on.
Yes.
Rest in peace. Art LeBeau finally did pass away in his early 90s, but
you went to his concerts. You went to his get-together.
Hell yes. We went down to San Diego, got to see who'd they have there. The guy that sings Hey There Lonely Girl.
Oh, okay.
And then Heat Wave was there, La Tierra was there. It was, all kinds of good stuff.
It was great stuff. I'll never
Computer
forget.
Love, Zapp and Roger were there. Come on.
I just love when they're like, y'all want to shout out my boo, Big B. He's been in the can for 5 years, but we're waiting for him, and I've been saving myself for him, Big B.
You're wrong. You don't directly say in the can. You just got to mention the town. All right. In Delano, in
that's
in
code word.
Avenal. Yeah. I want to shout out to my girl in Chowchilla. Like you have to know where where the penitentiaries are.
All right. A lot of comments coming in. I don't know if you agree with them, but they're coming in right now from the people. All right. Enough of this BS. I do like me some gingers. I do like gingers, but mate, I'm not a ginger. You know what I mean?
I'm not ginger, mate.
I mean, do you identify with that? Do you think Evan Korn identifies as a ginger?
I hope he doesn't. I think there should be more ginger denialists such as myself. I bet. Does Canelo identify as a ginger? Has anyone asked him? He kind of can't get out of it.
No, I've called him Big Red to his face a million times, but I've never said, mate, are you ginger? Yeah. I've never said that. But
the word ginger is tough.
They
I don't care about my life either. I don't care about it either. I don't know why we do it.
Yeah, Rafe's like, I don't care about your life, listener, either. Okay, I can go back to be drinking this liquid crack alone if you ask me nicely. Okay,
that is the life. All right.
What flavor you got right now? You showed it, but what flavor?
I got something special just for this, just because I wanted something a pick me up for today. It is the Canada Dry ginger ale, cranberry flavor, 0 sugar. Oh
yeah, takes one to drink one, right?
Yo, it's so good. Oh, it's like I can drink this like Frank the Tank, man.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
we're going so we going streaking Frank the Tank or the Mets fan Frank the Tank that Barstool has?
Streaking Frank. Frank the Tank, the original, the OG Frank the Tank.
All right. Let's kick off the show. Let's talk about boxing because it's a great week for that. We're coming off some big shit. We're about to step in some really big shit this Saturday. Oh, yeah. I get to be on the call. We had the fighter meetings yesterday for Saturday's PBC on Prime. Pay-per-view. It's going to be a great team. Bernardo Osuna on the play-by-play. Your boy B Sizzle and Abner on the color.
That's a lot of good hair.
Hall of Famer Jim Gray back in that bitch, okay? All right. Custer, Goosen, let's go. I'm fired up. Dan Canobio, let's go. All right. Let's get it. That's
stacked. Well, no cigars or cigar.
No cigar lady.
All right. I'm in.
No cop, no Helwani. All right. Here we go. Let's talk about what we saw on Friday. We spent a lot of time. I spent a lot of time on my various platforms hyping this up as we should have. Taylor Serrano 3. They did the work to make that third fight as big as possible. And by doing the work, I don't just mean the two classic fights against each other. I also mean MVP Netflix promoting the shit out of this thing. The production was top shelf. You can certainly quibble with certain announcing choices or certain this or that, but at the end of the day, they set the stage at MSG. The fans delivered. I thought the entrances were pretty damn cool too. And then the fight sucked. So Rafe, how do we respond to what we saw? It was still a competitive fight. It's not that we needed them to brawl and blood to death, smash the face and bleed, as Turkey would say, for us to be happy. But this was a firm entertainment letdown. And for my money, Serrano's game plan, lack of execution, lack of urgency, even lack of awareness was disappointing to stunning for such a big fight on such a big platform, when at the end of the day, that Irish chick is now 3-0 against her fellow all-time great. Are we being too mean here? I know you love women's boxing more than all of us. How did you view Friday night's fights?
Well, first of all, Brian, we talked all week about a historic card featuring all female champions or former champions somewhere all up and down the card. And I thought, sounds boring. I watched these fights. I didn't watch them yet. I let them pass, heard about them after the fact, thought, still sounds boring. Then I watched them. It still was boring. No, sorry. I had to get out. Shout out to our man Keith Thurman
Yes.
for giving us that. Look, I think you nailed it there when you said the lack of urgency on Amanda Serrano. It's hard to explain. I sort of chuckled in the middle of the fight when Ariel Helwani went to speak to Jordan Maldonado about it. And he's like, well, he's like blaming his fighters crap, like completely listless, non-trying performance, and saying that's our strategy because we knew Katie was going to try and headbutt us all day, like starting with the excuses halfway through the fight. So
let me stand 10 feet away from my opponent and spam jabs that have no chance of hitting.
I was going to say it was a masterclass from Amanda Serrano in throwing punches into the air. Yes. It's like she was envisioning Katie Taylor's chin as if it were 18 inches longer than it actually is in real life. Like she's fighting Jay Leno in there. I don't know.
And as you already know, it's a long way from the tip to the cup. And I know you don't know what that means. You know,
gotta get a little bit closer, I think. Is what we know what it meant in that context. She needed to get a little bit closer. Look, I'm offering you an out right here. Like,
you want to end the show?
No. Just to this portion. Do we really need to talk about this? They're not going to fight each other again, right? They showed us that they don't want to fight each other anymore. Maybe they want to continue their careers. They're great fighters, so we'll give them a chance with that if they so please. But who cares? It wasn't good. We don't need to talk about it. They're not going to fight each other again. Amanda Serrano, didn't want to press the fight at all. Katie
made no adjustments. No adjustments. Got no help in the corner from Coach Maldonado. It was just but yet, kind of almost backdoored a decision, which she wins. She loses by split decision. Does Amanda? No one, I don't believe, thought she actually should have won, except for that one judge. That woman. I don't know if it was a woman. That judge. Please. This is why I'm upset. But even if she had won it that way, we would have been like, well, now they robbed it in the other direction. I give Katie Taylor a ton of credit for really ultimately proving that she is the better boxer between the two. She picked her moments, was very efficient, darting in with combinations, getting out of trouble, and really Serrano never put that pressure on, especially when the moments of urgency were come. And it was just, let's just keep pawing from the outside and throw a body shot here and there. You're not going to win that way. So it's not like I didn't need her to run into oncoming traffic like she was Delphine Pursoon. She chose to do that in fights 1 and 2, and we got a beautiful disaster at both times, right? We got 2 minutes per round of fury. But how much do you not like the 2-minute rounds in women's boxing when no one's throwing, and every round you're like, I got 2 body punches for Serrano against a couple clean counters from Katie. The fact that Serrano left it to chance, it's mind-boggling. And what I was hearing in my mind the whole time was what you said. If she wants to win this fight, get on the inside, go to the body, be rough, use your strength advantage, like, corner her, crowd her. We got none of that. All right. They don't listen to this podcast.
Well, I'm not suggesting they begin because they probably would be offended. But I don't know. I mean, the thing is, you're talking about you actually wanted 12 more minutes or 20. I guess they're 10-round fights. 20 more minutes of this fight, or 10 more. I don't even know.
Not
10 more minutes
like
of this fight. No, I don't want it.
I mean, the round ends as soon as it begins, and when you're not throwing punches, you're it's the same shit. You're taking the chance that you're going to get screwed, or in this case, you didn't throw enough and you're screwing yourself. Congratulations.
It's
Amanda,
not. I mean, it's not like Serrano was that effective with the punches she was. I mean, she was actually throwing a lot of punches. They were just so far away from Katie Taylor that there was never. I mean, she might as well not have been throwing punches.
Right. Right.
I mean, like, I think I heard someone pointing to her activity on CompuBox. It's like, you look at the fight and like, well, this is why why activity alone, at least in terms of a flat number, does not tell the story of a fight. This is someone standing 8 feet, like on the other side of the ring, like going like this. Like, so what are we talking about here? It was the fight did not come off. It seems like they're certainly done with the rivalry. And if they want to keep fighting, go find another dance partner who's going to bring out a little bit more fire. Because
if you don't turn off your station, what do you think though about the early results? 6 million viewers globally, 4 million in the US during the fight, the most watched women's sporting event of 2025. Honest question: does Bella Netflix, as Turkey calls her, look at this as a success? I mean, that is pretty damn good viewership. It ain't 80 million that tuned in for the, co-main to the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fight when they fought the second time, but no one expected that. Do you think this will, I don't want to say it, end women's boxing on Netflix? Or was this from a Netflix perspective? And it doesn't matter because not only are Canelo and Crawford going to be fighting there in a few months, but that's the biggest platform you can get these days. Does this letdown hurt boxing and women's boxing by proxy at all, or no? It was just a close fight that kind of sucked.
I don't think that MVP could have done a much better job in terms of matching a card up from top to bottom, certainly promoting it, getting it out there on the platform. Like, all that was successful. And 6 million total, 4 million live. That's an incredible number by old broad. Like, and when I say old, I mean broadcast TV.
Old broads? I mean, they're like 39 and 36. But
I meant to finish that with broadcast, old broadcast standards of the past, say, 10 years. That's incredible, right? I mean, what would the number for Jeff Horn upsetting Manny Pacquiao?
I think it was like
Australia,
high
3.9, I think.
Yeah, high threes, maybe 4.
That was and when Thurman and Porter did huge numbers on broadcast TV again. So it's right in that ballpark, which is, I think, really impressive for any live sporting event. It's hard to judge because the reach of Netflix is impossible to sort of compare apples to apples. It's a worldwide platform. They have, I don't know how many hundreds of millions of subscribers. Are they over a B yet? I don't think so, but they might be.
Bro, you ain't touching M's yet.
Well, for sure I am not touching M's. And I am never going to touch no B's, unless we're talking about, no billions, I should say.
You talking about B cups? Where are we going?
I tell you, A through G, baby. I think to me, that's impressive because I can really only compare it to what sporting events do in general, what I know of average NBA numbers, average baseball numbers, that's like an NBA playoff number.
It beat the Stanley Cup Finals, yeah.
Right. All of that is impressive to me, I think. And I don't know how Netflix runs the numbers, right? I don't know how much They might have overpaid for that compared to what they can get $6 million on. I'm not sure. But if you just compare it to other sporting events in this day and age, I think it's still a success.
Did you see Chantel Cameron was one of the winners on the undercard in her first MVP fight, and Brody Moret circled that when Katie Taylor was asked about, will you keep fighting at 39? She was non-committal. When they brought up Chantel Cameron, she was like, well, let's see first if she could sell out a 1,000, as she would say, a 1,000 seat arena. I think I've made her too much money as it is. Are you liking older, colder Katie Taylor from the Connecticut suburbs?
No, because she sounds scared. She sounds like she.
Oh, get out of here! Get out.
Why?
Of
like she
ain't
lost
scared
to this. She lost. Well, then why not fight her again? They're gonna pay Katie the same no matter what, right? Well, how come she doesn't want to let this opponent make a little bit of money off of her? She's happy to do it with Amanda Serrano. I guess. No, I mean, sounds like she doesn't want that fight. I suppose it's not strictly because of the kind of crowds that Chantel Cameron draws.
True. Sid White jumping in to support the podcast, but not supporting this topic.
I tried to give you an out, man. I said we could just move on.
Well, before we move on, wow, Monzo's like, those women fighters, please. That's why I don't watch Netflix. What do you make of anyone else? Did you see Baumgartner's victory over Jennifer Miranda in the co-main, in which Alicia the Bomb, who is the undisputed 130 champ, called out Katie afterwards? And I'm like, I'm here for this, brother. Okay, you had Shadeja Green barely edging out one Savannah Marshall in a somewhat disputed but inspirational win for the ex-Division I basketball player. You had some other chicks doing things. Cherneka Johnson, that Ali chick, when Ariel was like, you didn't win the fight. It's like, yo, Jim Gray Jr., take a break on Paul, relax. You got anything to say about this undercard? Probably not.
I mean, Shadeja Green, that lady who got the upset. She could fight, what's her name? Not Clarissa now. That's cool. No, let's stop. Let's just stop. Baumgartner, good weigh in, bad fight. Hope you get some more fights.
Very good weigh in.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Brody also saying BC never come to Canada. We'll rough you up for talking bad about hockey. Yo, my people are from Canada. Okay. Quebecois. All right. So why don't you back off, Moret? Moret's Canadian. Who would have thought?
Do you mean like your illegitimate children that you fathered on one of those drunken romps to Montreal or
Montreal?
Quebec City?
Yo, I have seen things after midnight at Montreal on St. Catherine Street that I will never forget. Okay, I just wanted to let you know that, and so has Adoins, right? You know what I mean?
You might have been indirectly putting money in his pocket back in the day, Brian.
That's so disgusting. All right, enough of that talk on this. Okay. All right. This is hey, let's go to Saturday. Saturday ruled. All right. Look, who's a bigger critic of Turkey Al-Ashik in boxing than me?
No one.
Nobody. I'll try to be honest with you. So I'm also going to be honest. Wow, that was a swig right there. I
needed it. Man, I need something. I need a palate cleanser after that conversation.
So that was Ring 3 was awesome. And the way I phrased the question on Morning Combat yesterday to Luke Thomas was pointed because I believe it. I know we just had the awful Times Square card. But when you look at Eubank Ben 1, which was a ring card, Ring 3 on Saturday, we just had a press conference for a loaded Ring 4 with Haney, Norman, David Benavidez, on and on. The 4 fights that we saw on, I guess, the main portion of this were absolute bangers. I'm here to tell you that if the Ring series moving forward looks, smells, and tastes like it did on Saturday, even with too much cop, even with Versace Reno, even with sort of the turkey extras, the toppings that come on the meat that you didn't ask for, this is some of the best thing going in boxing in 2025. It's not prime HBO, but the production on this DAZN pay-per-view I thought was really good. And these fights freaking delivered top to bottom. I like the unique venue, even though Shakur yesterday on Ariel's show was like, The locker rooms were like a sauna. The arena was hot as balls. Where's the AC? I'm going to ask you this. A, do you believe what I'm saying? That this series might be the best thing going, the best thing Turkey's given us, the best thing actively going in boxing? And B, that maybe, just maybe, Turkey's read our backing of this, jacking up the heat, doing the Tom and Jerry bullshit. He's created a platform. I thought they were going to hit me between the eyes. No, they are. Where these fighters get matched really tough and they come out and they fight. Yo, Saturday was boxing and I love boxing. Biatch.
Okay, Brian, I'm happy to see you enjoying this card. I'm happy to see you giving a little bit of credit to HE, His Excellency, Turkey
yeah, like I ain't showing up in Saudi anytime soon, but you put fights like this on U.S. soil, I'm in, brother.
I am. Well, look, I'm all the way with you in terms of this being that card being great. I loved all four of the main card fights. And it was a card that I was excited about going into, exceeded expectations, right? Every fight was really good. And I would say, I'm thinking about it, I would say every fight did exceed expectations on the main card. Those four, high level fights.
Sure, not counting that prospect from Japan who looked good himself.
That's cool too, but let's just stick to the stuff that matters. So I'm with you with all that. I don't know, like, okay, one, can you give me any compelling reason to distinguish ring 1 through 10 from Riyadh season? It's all Turkey's money. It's all the same idea. I guess they happen in the States more.
Ring 4 will be in Saudi, the one I just fawned over. Brody's right. That I don't like that, but it is what it is. All right.
But I seriously, what's the like, other than we decided to give it a different name? This is not like the best thing happening this year. It's the same shit as Riyadh season. Riyadh season was making stacked cards with a lot of good fights mostly in Saudi, I guess occasionally in the UK before then. Still is sometimes happening. It's
time in LA.
Right.
One time in LA.
And that was also a good night of fights.
I mean, it was 10 hours long and they gave away a free car from Saudi and it was weird. And then they inducted him into the Boxing Hall of Fame. I mean,
listen, anybody wants it. I got an easy hack for this. It's great. All right. HE or the Ring's YouTube after the fact, they give their shit away for free.
I love that
24 hours later, which is great for fans. Great for me. You don't got to waste your time setting up all night looking at, whatever dumb pageantry they decide to put on. Just wake up the next morning and watch the fights. Enjoy them. It's fun.
Wake up. Why don't you put on a little makeup, right? That's some LA rock. Come on. There's Armenians in the house, yo. I'm talking about the System of a Down.
Were they in Armenia? Are they Armenians?
They are.
Are they from
Rick
Glendale?
Rubin produced that record, okay?
I don't give a fuck. That guy, man. Talk about like he's convinced so many. Like all he did was grow his hair mad long, get a weird beard. Now he's a fucking
Yes, but I only ended up full time on the Cheap Heat podcast on ESPN with Peter Rosenberg because that man left a voicemail on Rosenberg's phone after our first episode and said, "Hire that guy. He's the closest thing you'll get to Shoemaker."
Amen. Look, I think I'm not surprised. He does.
So he's my guy now. He's my guy. Okay.
Rick Rubin does have good taste. I think he has proven that over the years. Anyway, man. No. So to me, it's the same thing as Riyadh season. It's a good thing for boxing, which is what I think we have been saying, or I have been saying throughout the fact. They're making good fights between top level fighters who probably wouldn't be in such a rush to fight each other under any other circumstances because the money wouldn't normally be there.
Yeah.
And if any traditional promoter who needs to make a return on their investment was making these fights, they got to slow it down. They got to make a lot more crap fights along the way to sort of, to milk everything they can. And Turkey doesn't have time for that. He doesn't seem to be interested in that. And I think that plays out very well for fans in the aggregate. There are going to be nights that just don't come off, like ring 1 or ring 2, whatever ring that was in Times Square. But they keep it still looked pretty good. I guess Monday morning quarterbacking that Times Square card, it was easy to see, we probably should have noted, we probably should have seen that this might not have come off so well. But
if that was in Barclays, those fights are good. I'm telling you they are. Maybe Haney still circles around, but I don't think Raga and Rolly is bad with a crowd.
I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't believe that at all. I think that like they're in the ring, they should be, they're professional athletes. They should be able to concentrate and do whatever it is they came to do, regardless of what kind of crowd shows up for them or is allowed in or whatever. In any case, it seems like Turkey and his minions will adjust going forward and not do. They may continue to do creative sites for fights, but maybe not places that don't allow fans in. Hey, who gives a fuck about all this? This was awesome, Brian. This was awesome. Great fucking night.
Was badass. All of the fighters, for the most part, including Shakur, stepped up and brought it. So we got a lot to talk about. But before we do overarching here, oh wait, the wrong question, but interesting comment. Has Shakur ever been that exciting since the gas station parking lot? Probably not. I got De La Cruz telling me Lampley wasn't great.
I agree.
I want to ask you about that. I got Kyle saying Lampley sucked the energy out of the card, and I'm a huge HBO fan. Look, I didn't hate Lampley on Saturday. What am I missing? I thought he was solid. And in fact, he went from calling the last two fights on Saturday's card. I didn't like that they basically told Grisham and Mora to stand down after that. But now he's signed, I'm hearing reports, Lampley signed full-time now to Ring and Riyadh season cards after this. Were you not entertained by Big Jim?
Yeah, that's a waste of money. I mean, I'm sure he costs more than all the good people they're already paying. And we saw on Saturday night, the first two fights, granted, they were probably, I mean, they offered they were all good fights, but the first two fights were outstanding. So maybe you could say that those fights sold themselves. But no, you heard back to back. You had almost as close as you can get to like an A/B comparison. The booth for the first two fights and the booth for the next two fights. The booth for the first two fights was a way better. Yeah, they talked about the fights. Todd Grisham was just doing blow by blow. He was not pausing to give his observations about, yes, Kyle, I agree. The whole, what was it, the third round? Weird as fuck. Being like, hey, he's got really long feet. Hey, I bet he has big hands too. Like, yo, you got to stop. There's only one next step to that.
Wow, I didn't expect this. I was entertained. I didn't expect this from the people.
And then going on the bizarre beard tangent. Like, we have seen big beards. Like Shiraz, his beard was trimmed pretty tight. Like, it's not like his chin was not hidden in that. And it had not, and it's just sort of like Lampley jumping in to sort of vamp a little bit. It made no sense. Tarver's not that great either.
I thought Tarver had his best night ever. I thought he sucked the last time, and I thought he was actually pretty good this time. Am I crazy?
He was not distractingly bad, but like I didn't notice that Tarver was bad really until not that he was bad, but that I did not prefer Tarver until I watched the Mora fight. And yes, I did watch these out of order. I watched the ones that Sergio called, and that was just better. He's not like he sounded more into the fights. His observations seemed to be less sort of just about himself, which is something that you get with a lot of fighters, but Tarver does a lot, and he just doesn't sound. His voice, he doesn't really convey much energy in the way that he talks. It wasn't as good. Lampley, Kopp, and Tarver were not bad. All right, I get they were not, but they weren't good, and the first crew was good.
I gotta say, Kopp's got to stop with this. Well, I'm not scoring the fight. But there's no way they can give this guy more than 2 rounds. Dude, start scoring the fight. It's okay. You can do both, okay? Score it personally for yourself so that you have an opinion. All you're doing is feeding into opinions.
Man, this is the man that made me preview all the fights at the Athletic because he didn't want to offend, because he thought that it would make him look bad. So he ain't gonna start.
I thought he had a decent second half of the show, especially when they took him off of in-ring interviews. I thought he actually wasn't that bad down the stretch, but this is not my preferred team, is what I'm trying to say. In the end,
he didn't, honestly, Mike didn't distract me on this card.
All right. Let's get into the fights. We'll start at the top. Edgar Berlanga got sent to hell. But I do really believe the bigger story is Hamza Shiraz in his 168 debut with Andy Lee in the corner and Jason Quigley in the corner. No longer Ricky Funes, or as Cobb said on the air, Ricky Fuentes. But yeah, I mean, sell the world, Brody. Tell the world, okay? BC and Morrow, that's the future of boxing. Everybody knows that. Seriously, dude, Shiraz looked like $1 million. Should we downgrade that at all because of the combination of him just being kind of audited at 160 by Adames and the fact that Berlanga, who I did think fought really well for the first 3 rounds, they were on even terms, but when it got hairy, that dude went the other way quickly and got the shit kicked out of him. Do you downgrade Shiraz at all, or does he look like the future Canelo stalker, the future face of 68, like Turkey's been, willing him to try to become?
I don't think we downgrade Hamza Shiraz for anything for that performance at all. It was a strong performance. I mean, the knockout, the finishing, the way, like, that was all
variety, dude. He's got every punch.
Pretty, like, and the power, I think you sort of have, like, sells itself, even though Berlanga, has not been tested as much at the highest levels. He was knocked down by Canelo. He made it to the 12th round, blah, blah, blah. And you saw, I mean, Berlanga, honestly, those shots, as clean as they were and in combination, probably knock a lot of other super middleweights out cold, or at least for the count. So I think the power is the one thing you could say you're sold on immediately. I still think you have to come out of this thinking that Shiraz is not a proven quantity in general, and or at super middleweight. Not because he did anything wrong, but just because there's so I still have a lot of questions about the opponent. Berlanga kind of was exposed the way that I think we're all expecting it to happen at some point in time. I think that Canelo probably could have, if he felt like there was any reason to. Canelo got his knockdown, went into cruise control, made it a fun night for everyone. And let Berlanga, Canelo is sort of a softer hearted individual, maybe not such the heel that I made him out to be all those years ago. Now
he had compassion for these guys, you're saying.
Right. He's just like, all right, I'll carry this bum. But in any case, I think that, so was the reason I say that the jury should still be out on Shiraz, in my point of view, is that for those first 3 rounds, you're right. It was back and forth, and it seemed like he was willing to just let Berlanga go. Okay, you try your thing. Basically trade off offense.
They were jousting in a lot of ways.
You throw a combination, then I'll throw a combination, then I'll throw, and then what did impress me was he sort of found the cheat code there, which was when he backed Berlanga up after clinches, when he pushed Berlanga off, or he created a little space with a quick uppercut. Even ones that didn't quite land, not the ones that, some landed beautifully. Some, were a little bit, some just pushed him back. But when he would push Berlanga back in that situation, he had an opening to immediately follow up with overhand rights, with his left. And he caught him clean a couple times, and that's eventually how he caught him with that first combination that sent Berlanga down for the first time. And he kept going back to it once he found it. So he found something that works. He did it, and he did it, and he executed it beautifully up to that point. Berlanga just don't have no ideas in there. It has no, not.
Don't you like his step-in jab? Berlanga's step-in stiff jab. I don't know why I became a Berlanga apologist. I'm not, but I maybe because I deal with Luke, who's always like, black and white, the guy sucks. Dude, his step-in jab was good. His body shots were good. Punch resistance was not there when he needed it.
He has some, he has an idea. He's an offensively talented fighter. He's heavy-handed, I think is fair to say about Berlanga, and aggressive and confident, and will let his hands go. All those things make him a somewhat dangerous fighter, but he just, he's not, I don't think he really has much of a plan for when, for incoming fire, when he's facing a live body who's going to throw punches back at him. And they had to carry his ass through how many 12-round close calls with Caceres and all these other guys along the way to make the Canelo fight real after his knockout streak. And did he struggle with Romer Angulo? Maybe not.
Dude, he went life and death with Jason Quigley. Let's be honest here. Right?
Exactly. So I guess because it sort of, to me, to me, it just means the jury should still be out on Shiraz a little bit. Yes, he could do that against Berlanga. I don't know that means that he would be as dangerous against Canelo immediately, because Canelo will know, like even old lazy Canelo, like some of our fans are saying, or not fans, some of our listeners, watchers. I don't have fans. Brian has fans, but
only fans.
Look,
when I start showing that pipe,
all I know is I don't have fans. Honestly, I don't want fans. If you want to be friends with me, we could be cool, whatever. But don't be anybody's fan. We're all adults here.
The only fans you got is when that AC breaks down in the summer in Michigan.
True
right?
that. Yeah. Anyway, so to me, the one. I think that Canelo, like Shiraz jumping straight into Canelo, I don't think he has the experience yet necessarily to.
Turkey don't care
as well. Turkey don't care. He wants that shit to happen. And I do like that.
Like, are you mad that Turkey tweets out before the fight at Shiraz with a picture of them and is like, "Don't let me down, brother." You know what I mean? Like,
I don't care.
Make me proud is what he said.
Look, we all, they're always house fighters. They're always guys who are going to have somebody smiling upon them. I don't think that Turkey, it doesn't seem like he's put too much of a heavy hand on the scorecards in too many fights yet. I don't know. I know there are people who think
except for Shiraz Adames when he was out there communicating.
Except for that one, yes. Well, no, but that was when he was doing. He wasn't putting it on the judges. He was putting on Shiraz, being like, "Hey, these are the cards right now." Which is also it's kind of a challenge. But
kind of a challenge. What do you think about Brody saying? Obviously Canelo's got to get through Crawford first. Maybe they do a rematch. Who knows? Maybe Canelo wants to fight a cruiserweight or a welterweight after that. Who knows? Do you think it would be better off that Shiraz should take on Mabili or Diego Pacheco?
I think those are excellent matches that would sort of solidify. I mean, I don't know if I would favor Shiraz versus either of them, who are both, because just the talent that they've both showed, the ability, they know what's up. They're like those would be excellent fights. And who, if the winner of, if any, whatever two of those three fight each other, Mabili, Shiraz, and Pacheco, if they, the winner of one of those fights would have a clear, strong, excellent case. I mean, basically the best case of anyone not named David Benavidez.
Yeah, we don't talk about that name.
Who deserves to fight Canelo next. Honestly, I do think what Turkey has been suggesting is going to happen is probably what is going to happen, which is that they're going to wait for Canelo because he wants it to happen. I wouldn't risk him, because I think those are 50-50 fights, against Mabili or Pacheco for sure.
I agree.
And I might favor him. I think he's really talented. I like how he looks at the weight, but it's still, I don't think he's a clear favorite against either of them, except maybe on the Turkey scorecards. But I think that they'll want to make the Shiraz Canelo fight next, because you know who Canelo doesn't want to fight next? They need somebody. They need a name out there, and he doesn't want to fight that guy named David Benavidez. So
no idea what you're talking about here.
So you were on this way earlier than me. I tend to be a apologist for skipping Benavidez. Like I'm all in on the Crawford match. I don't think that's done.
I hate to be honest with the people, but Big Red be acting like a hoe.
Or just a duck, I don't know.
Let me tell you this. I'm very impressed by Shiraz. It was like my brain wanted to keep him in the lane of overhyped, protected by Turkey. I get that other people are going to have better punch resistance in this case than Berlanga. Although I give Berlanga credit for standing in there and going for it. Like, I actually retweeted Jake Paul's tweet after, because I agree with it. Him being like, everybody needs to get off Berlanga, give him a chance. He'll be back. It's boxing. You should be allowed to take L's like this. And I think you should. The dude's not going to go undefeated. He's going to be in big fights because of his name. He's going to beat some people maybe he shouldn't. But Shiraz is the story, dude. He looked like he had real variety. Like, he had huge size for 68. He looked like a killer in there.
That's what Jim Lampley told us.
I liked his humility afterwards, the way he talked about what he learned from the loss to Adames. I liked a lot of what he brought in there, including him being like, look, you using my name in the same sentence, Canelo, I win because that's my hero. But I'm not going to go in there and dance with that guy. I'm going to go in there and punch and look to get him the hell out of there. Like, yes, that's the kind of talk I want. Am I too high on that card on Saturday? Because when that knockout happened, I was just like, damn, this is exciting. Like, this is boxing. This is the shit we want. We want trash talking. We want tough matchmaking. We want guys to get in there and have to earn it. There was no like decision where Shiraz held and jabbed from the outside. They met in the center of the ring and they got to it, and the better man won. Put some respect on Hamza's name here. I can't believe I'm Team Turkey after this. But if you sell me a box that smells good, I'm in the box.
I mean, I could take a dump in a box and mark it guaranteed if you want, but I'd rather take the butcher's word for it, Brian.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Do you think Berlanga should get some pies and reset, or could you see him? Because Coppinger would report that Berlanga had a one-fight deal with Riyadh Season or Ring or however those deals are made, and that he's a free agent. Kevin Connolly or Keith Connolly, his manager from Entourage, does get him big opportunities. What about him and Caleb Plant, both coming off of defeats? Are you in or are you out?
Yeah, of course. I mean, they have history. They're both kind of on the schneid. Like they're not, their careers are both all going downhill from here. It's a great crossroads fight, and one of them will have to go home, which is great. After that, one of them is kind of out of the picture for hopefully a long time.
You know about the legend of Gigi Allen?
I don't. What that mean?
The crazy singer in the 80s and 90s who would defecate on stage and throw it at the crowd. And he, the night he died, he did so many drugs that he did a concert naked. And then the whole audience followed him back to his apartment where he properly OD'd and died on the floor. I guess they're saying you're getting all Gigi Allen on us. I don't know how we got here.
I talked about taking a crap in a box. That's
it. There it is.
I was just trying to get all Tommy Boy on you, but I guess I went full Gigi Allen.
Hank Williams says Berlanga got used like a cheap whore, and now he's finished as a top boxer. The game is the game. Made more money than most. I don't think he's finished. I just think that he is a limited guy, but there's some offensive punch there. He's gonna, if he takes a step down, he's probably gonna knock those guys out, right?
He's fighting this weekend, right? Who do you like in a Berlanga versus Trevor McCumbee fight?
Berlanga by knockout.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, I guess look, the McCumbee who gave Caleb Plant hell in those early rounds before Plant made that very, very strong adjustment and got inside on his ass. I don't know, man. I think McCumbee. I prefer the mustached hillbilly.
The mustachioed hillbilly. Wow. Plant got scared by that guy, but he got inside on him. And
that guy is strong as hell. I think that guy. I don't think that Berlanga can make an adjustment like that. He just doesn't have it in him.
All right.
He don't got it.
Well, hey, big win for Shiraz, but he may not have been the biggest winner on this night. You can argue that Shakur Stevenson went back and reminded us exactly who he is. What do I always say on here? I say the guy's his own worst enemy, but if you put him in there with a pressure fighter, you'll find out how good he is. I give Shakur credit, and maybe it was that Cepeda's not a knockout puncher. He's a volume, activity guy, goes to the body hard. But Shakur's decision to take punishment in order to stand in there and give himself a chance to potentially stop him or put it on him, even with the hands, which he said were injured once again in there. It is what it is. Dude, that version of him is my favorite fighter. That version of him is pound for pound top 10. That version of him is ready to fight Tank Davis. I don't know if Tank Davis is going to be in.
We want to talk about that?
Might be California Penal League.
Who's Tank Davis ready to fight right now?
Yeah.
He's trying to get on that Friday card.
I don't know if Rafe's rap of the late 90s extends to Southern rap, Lazy Bed, but you're derailing us right here.
I was kind of a rapidy rap snob, was stayed out of some of the, I liked from some of the, like, Goody Mob, some of the music from Atlanta. Yes. When we get down to like Cash Money stuff,
we're not
was
doing
too
that.
much of a New York guy. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
we're real.
I like
real,
it more
okay?
now. I've
Ooh,
reconsidered
baby, he
my
likes
ways.
it raw. Okay.
Yeah,
Also, Hank Williams saying, and
I
he's
said
right.
that.
Yeah, McCovey's fighting Diego Pacheco. Okay,
Hank, you're always one step ahead of me on this one. I swear I said he's fighting this weekend. Anyway, thank you for always putting me on.
Thank you for getting the score right.
This is the one time I actually was there.
Back to Shakur.
Yeah.
What am I missing here? I think he could have circled away and won that boring easily. I think he was willing to take it to show it. I also think Zepeda had success with the pressure. I do think Shakur learned a lesson that he can't be doing this on the ropes full time because it's a bad look to the judges. But all in all, dude, that guy stood on business, sat down on his combinations, and showed us what a talent he is, whether these hands will hold up or not.
Well, how was it a bad look to the judges what he was doing on the ropes? Because didn't he win like 11-1 and 10-2?
In the end, it wasn't a bad look.
It seemed like the judges appreciated his defensive work on the ropes as much as anywhere else, and his offensive work. Look, he looked really good. I'm not saying you're not wrong at all about Shakur Stevenson's talent, his high level, his top of the pound for pound list type ability, all of the positives you're saying about Shakur Stevenson, they are true. They have been true. I think that if you didn't understand that already about him, you probably weren't being fair to him coming into this fight. And because two things can be true. He can be an elite fighter, one of the very best in the world, talent that you would put on par with the very best at any weight class. He also has had a boring career, not accomplished much because he hasn't had the opponents yet.
Yeah.
And, we still want to see more. But on these occasions where he gets to fight a live body, which I think, look, Zepeda was competitive, man. He didn't give up. And I don't know that I totally buy the argument that Shakur could have Tom and Jerry'd that fight. Like Zepeda's got some feet. He could have spun off more a little bit, but I just think that Zepeda has
proved a point. He proved a point. He heard the whispers. He proved a point. All right, that's my take.
I think you can give Zepeda a little bit of credit for being able to apply, like, his pressure wasn't effective in terms of landed punches. It wasn't, and that's why he got beat. But he was able to get in position to at least throw them. And I think that he's done that against a lot of opponents. Like, that's what Zepeda does. He fights with a shitload of energy. I think it's okay to say that he was able to cut off the ring at times. And also, yes, Shakur probably also didn't care because he could feel both the power wasn't enough to bother him, and even when Zepeda would get into position to throw 20 punches, Shakur knew that, okay, but maybe one of these is going to land, so I don't really. Yeah. Then I'll come back.
Shakur's defense was great. In the pocket.
Yeah, he looked great. He swam without getting wet, right?
That's what I'm talking about, Nazim.
All of that is good. But
can we go to this level that Sid White is going, that I want to go? Thank you, Sid, for your support. That was the closest thing we'd seen to Floyd, like being in the pocket against Maidana, not getting hit and countering.
Listen, you do not bring Marcos into this, because a guy like El Chino, I think, would be a real problem for Stevens. A guy who actually can hurt, who when Shakur does make a mistake or will land a punch that actually does hurt and doesn't, and is completely undeterrable, and it's just a wild man in there. There aren't many of those. Those fighters are few and far between. But that was, I think, the difference. That is where it was a very fun competitive fight between two guys who had no chance of hurting the other one, like zero chance of hurting the other one. They're just and Shakur's going to win that battle of points every time.
You're right. But he did what he had to do. The fight is Tank. Obviously, we got issues, not just that Tank could be facing jail time, not just that we don't even know if in 6 weeks Tank's going to fight Roach first. There's a lot of things we don't know. But because we don't know that, is the right fight instead, and I got it right here, they be asking me about it. Okay? I can't find it.
While you're looking, let me tell everyone, go back and watch some Floyd. Whatever Floyd performances you like, go back and watch them. All right. Floyd makes Manny Pacquiao look like Shakur did to Zepeda. Floyd not that Robert Guerrero is necessarily the greatest world beater, but that was one of the cleanest, like the most complete shutouts you'll ever see. Like someone who never was not in 1 second of the fight. Floyd, yeah, I understand the comparison that folks are making, but watch Floyd. And if you come out of that thinking that these two are currently in the same like stratosphere, I don't know. I don't see it. And that's not I don't mean to take too much away from Shakur there. He's a great fighter, but Floyd, that's why Floyd is he really is an all-time great.
Like, yo, I agree. I saw flashes of Floyd in there. That's what I'm saying. But what do you get on Brody saying? I mean, he's saying he's avoiding them. I don't agree. But is the fight to make for Shakur next actually Kid Austin, Floyd Schofield?
Hell yes.
After he knocked out Farmer? That's the fight you're saying.
100%. Yeah, because we know that they can't make the Tank fight. Tank is like the Roach fight is off for the time being. Tank has legal problems. He got arrested for battery again against. I don't know if he was arrested the first time. He was caught on tape doing some battery, but this time he was arrested. So this is
he's been unfortunately doing battery since the beginning.
Right. So look, that we can't That's a great fight. I hope it happens someday, but that's off the table for now. Yeah, the Floyd Schofield fight makes so much sense now. It didn't happen. They have this weird backstory. Schofield's dad is going to be insinuating bizarre stuff about all of the weird, awful sabotage that befell them the whole time. It's going to be a weird buildup. And Schofield is now a really interesting opponent because they have this sort of common thread of past opponents where they haven't, it's not direct, it's not as direct ABC, but there's, the Tevin Farmer connection really does make it interesting. And do I think that Shakur is actually going to have a problem with Floyd Schofield when they fight? No, I don't really. But that fight makes more sense now than it may ever make sense. And the fight that we'd all rather see against Tank ain't going to happen. So what's better?
Gun to your head. Do you agree with Cosmo Kramer or do you not agree? What would it look like if Tank fought Shakur next weekend?
Right now, I think you have to you'd be crazy not to favor Shakur Stevenson. Like Tank's performances are up and down. They've been getting worse in recent years for whatever reason, whether it's because he's, trying to find himself or he's falling out of love with the game or he's distraught, whatever. He hasn't since making Ryan Garcia quit, it hasn't been, as impressive.
It hasn't been that blessed or highly favored. Right?
Yeah. And Shakur I don't think has he ever had a bad night in terms of his how in control he seemed in the ring? I don't think so.
Not really. He just had nights where he had trouble figuring people out.
He has nights when he's boring as hell and it sucks to watch, but he's always.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. By the way, we've got breaking news here in the chat. Ex-MK cameraman with rabid tattoo arm sleeves is here. If I could figure out how to get to these questions. And I think there's only one person that fits that description. And I think his name is Tristan G. Is he really here? Is this really former beer chugging silent assassin MK cameraman with the rabid animal sleeve? That would be Tristan G. If this is really happening, then represent, shout out. Rafe, let me ask you this. I don't think you're a big watcher of the RIL show, Helwans, but yesterday he had one. What's Ben's first name?
I heard that. Yeah, Connor Ben. I heard
Connor Ben in there, and then Shakur was coming in next, and he walked in, and then suddenly Ariel's playing matchmaker, and we're talking serious about those two fighting at the 147. Is that real? Do you care? It seems like a reach.
It's an interesting fight. I would be in if that is how Shakur wants to jump in weight class and try and go straight up to welterweight. Okay, fine. I mean, that's an interesting first fight. Ben is aggressive and physical, assuming he would be comfortable. He wouldn't have trouble getting back down to welterweight after the catchweight fight or fights with Eubank Jr. Blah 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 blah. Like, it's interesting. I would be into it. It's not a fight I was looking for. I don't. Do you prefer that to Schofield? I guess I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't be upset at all if they do that instead of Schofield. I would be a little bummed to see Shakur completely jump over junior middleweight, because that's a fun division right now. We just saw Puello and Matias.
Oh, junior welterweight, you mean?
Yeah, didn't I say that? Junior welterweight.
I thought you said the 154, but yeah, the 140. I would love to see him there. It's really
Yeah.
fun. We can totally get into that. Quick question here from Hank Williams IV. Rafe, will you be in Little Caesars Arena next week for Clarissa plus the real super bad Tony Harrison versus a former super bantamweight? What a card from Salida Promotions.
I don't know. I probably not. They were giving, man. They've been talk about shit they give away at Tigers games. Every promotion, someone is getting some tickets to this little LCA fight for Clarissa. If BC were calling it, I'd come through.
Thank you.
But
Thank you.
I'm a paying customer now, and they price me out of this shit because
okay,
I know it ain't worth it. No, I know.
Couple quick questions for Rafe as well as we get further down that card. Does Rafe prefer women's box to men's box?
Are we talking about sports or athletics?
I don't know.
Because in athletics, I prefer the women's box. In sports, I think I prefer the men's.
What about it in the streets or the sheets? All right, that's what we really want to know. Also from Hank Williams, please tell me you caught the DJ Nikki Holtzkin.
This is what I'm talking about. This is what
return to
Hank
boxing.
Williams puts us on.
The natural won a UD10 in his home country versus a bin man. I did not see that, but we love that shit. All right, let's talk about this. Did David Morrell get it? Or we'll get to the other fight too as well. But let's start off here. David Morrell opened this card. Super exciting fight against that Russian PED user from Australia, Imam Katayev. Seriously, Katayev won us over. He never stopped coming, even though he was exhausted. He landed shots. A lot of people thought he got robbed. I scored it slightly for Morrell, but also I scored the round with the knockdown 10-9 because Morrell had dominated the first 2.5 minutes, and then he got dropped late. Where I come from, that's a 10-9. Am I trying to be a PBC homer to my boy, or do you exit this fight saying, now we got David Morrell twice on Riyadh Sisson/Ring, once against Hot Rod Kalaji, once against this, and in both times he ain't looking like the guy anymore. Is there truth to that?
Look, I think that there's a couple ways to you can if you're the Morrell pessimist for this fight, you look at it and say, look, he probably deserved to lose that. Like the scorecard that had him 97, 93 or something. What they gave him 8-2 in that shit. That's insane. He had to rally to make the scorecards tight, and he did, to his credit, right? He looked, his best 2 rounds were, I think, or maybe you could say one of the first couple when he was fresh.
If that fight's 30 seconds longer, he might stop him.
That's so the optimist take for David Morrell is that if this were a championship fight, a 12-rounder, he probably wins late because he turned the tide and was hurting Katayev in every round. And maybe as fun as Katayev seemed to be in this fight, and dangerous as he is, it seems like he may have some real gas tank issues that come with carrying around all that little muscle on that tiny little tank frame. Maybe
that clomiphene tank.
Yeah, look, I mean, I know we kind of, I shouldn't bring you into this, Brian. I poo-pooed the positive result, the ban, because I was not familiar with whatever doping operation that created that positive test. However, it's not hard to imagine that guy on some juice. He looks like he's had a couple glasses of OJ in his day.
And you're not talking about Simpson.
Well, I think OJ is spending more time with Tank these days.
Oh wow! You hit hard.
And I hit him hard, really hard.
That white guy, he hits hard.
Dude. Okay, I'm not ready to write Morrell off. I wonder if it was part of him that overlooked this guy. He got tagged. He got woken up. And then I think he got surprised that Katayev had a better gas tank, because it looked like that dude Imam was on his way to gas himself out by like round 5. To his credit, he kept coming, but Morrell did sit down late, take firm control, put it on him. I mean, I think Morrell is kind of subject to this at times. He kind of shows off in there. He kind of has this loose attitude.
That didn't work well for him.
I still think the skill set is real. I mean, I know it was a flash knockdown, but he knocked down Benavidez. He kind of came on late. It was a clean loss, but I thought he fought well in that Benavidez fight. I don't know. I don't want to write him off. I feel like maybe this was more about Kataev being better than we thought. And but Morrell needs to go back and tinker with some shit. I'll agree to that.
Absolutely. Kataev was better. I mean, I think people probably the hardcores who had been watching Kataev fight on, ESPN Plus cards on.
I have the Tiger cards with
right. They probably weren't surprised. I think that this guy, he was, highly rated as a prospect, has good experience. Like there were reasons to think
bronze medalist.
Yeah. All of that. There are reasons to treat him like the real deal, which I think he proved he was. So yeah, the bigger story is that he is a lot better than I think the audience, including, myself, knew before this fight, just because I hadn't been paying close enough attention. That is, and Morrell to come on late and I do believe in a 12-round fight, Morrell is on his way to, if he doesn't stop him, he gets a knockdown that probably that puts some real definitive distance on the scorecards, or wins those probably goes on to win those last two and eke out a more respectable decision win than the one he ended, than this one feels in a 10-rounder. So to that in that regard, Morrell didn't completely he didn't shit the bed, right? He fought a tough fighter, one of the probably tougher than I mean, if you some of the retread guys they could have run out there, right? I mean, he already fought Hot Rod, who's kind of a tough out as well. But I'm
trying to figure out what his big fight is.
What's that?
I'm trying to figure out what Morrell's big fight is. Like, what are we building towards? He's at 175, where maybe he should still be cutting to 68, because then him and Shiraz will be a hell of a fight. But if he's staying at 175, if that's where his body's at, we're kind of crowded there. You got Benavidez against Yard. Maybe Callum Smith. Would you be down for Callum Smith versus David Morrell Jr.?
Heck yeah, why not? I mean, that's a very exciting fight. It's one there. I think that I probably even with Callum Smith, I think he's still very good. He's still a world-class fighter. If he gets if a vacant belt ends up in the right place, Callum Smith in the next few years, Callum Smith could still get a championship at 175. So I think that he's still sort of like in the mid top 10 for the weight class. And that's right where Morrell is. I think that's a fun fight. I probably would favor Morrell just on being fresher, more aggressive, younger, having enough. I think he would have enough to probably win a decision over Callum Smith. But I also think that we're seeing whether he's that loose. It's fun to see, but that's when Morrell starts messing around, starts high stepping, starts mugging like that. He got tagged every time. And that's Kataev is good. He made him pay for that. But he seems like the kind of fighter who isn't going to get over the hump in that way. You might be able to get him a belt again in the right vacant situation, but I don't see him breaking into the conversation in a serious way against the likes of, we've already seen it against David Benavidez. And if he were to get a shot against Beterbiev before Beterbiev is washed, or I shouldn't say washed, he's just getting older.
Goes to cruiser.
Yeah. Or all right, whatever. Or if and certainly not Bivol, who's still like prime and outstanding at the moment. It just is hard to see. He kind of reminds me of a slightly, I think I like him better overall, but he kind of gives off these Anthony Yard vibes where he's, talented, has a lot of tools, dangerous, but makes enough mistakes, can get and is not.
Oh, stop it. He's not on the mistake level of that guy. Come on. Yard muscular, he throws punches and do much else. Morrell's skilled.
It looks good, but he's got to put it together. It looks great. I honestly look midway through this fight, I was like, yo, Morrell needs to retire and just go be like a be a boxer in Hollywood movies, because he'd be the best boxer I ever saw in a Hollywood movie. I mean, he looks awesome. I bet you go to a David Morrell open workout and you walk out thinking, man, this guy is the truth. He's the natural. He was put on this earth to do this exact thing. Unfortunately, we see against real opposition, he might lack some of those intangibles. I don't know. Call me crazy.
Yeah, I think those questions are legit to be had. I think he's got to tighten things up. I think he's got to get in there and figure that out. Maybe you need to pour a little water on me.
Come on, let me put some water on your balls.
Thank you, King Zahir Rahim, for that win. All right, let's talk about this 140-pound fight. That may have been my favorite fight on the night. Okay, Super Yell Matias challenging for Alberto Puello's WBC belt. He would get it after a very close decision, after a very good fight. Now, Rafe, I scored the fight 7-5 for Puello. I was already on Twitter sort of, forming my post-fight, opinion of holy shit. Puello stood in there against a Matias who was just balls to the wall coming after him. He showed his backbone. He held him off. Puello won the last 5 rounds on my scorecard. But obviously, if I'm scoring it 7-5 for him, I can't be upset if it was 7-5 in the other direction. But that's also a really hard luck loss for Puello, who had 4 split decisions in his last 5 fights. I didn't think he beat Sandor Martin last time, for example, but to fight that well, to gas out Matias, to hold him off, and then to lose, it was like, damn, was that the right call overall from the judges in your eyes?
I was gutted, mate. No, I scored it like you. I thought I was super impressed. I think the draw scorecard probably does make sense as well, just because you have to score round by round. And there were moments like Matias really came on, I'd say from rounds 3 between 3 to 7, maybe 8. And you might have given him one of the first couple rounds as well, when they were very close to even, both having moments. But I thought in any case, Puello was really impressive, because I thought that when the fight at the first bell, Matias comes out like his house on fire, right? The way he fights every minute of every round, or at least tries to. And Puello met that moment and at least at the beginning, and his corner said this, you're lighting him up, right? I mean, because he would back up and then adjust with amazing timing and judgment of distance, crack that left out there and catch him perfectly on the end of it. I mean, beautiful stuff. The way that he was moving and boxing against the really intense pressure fighter. And then the storm came and it looked like it was going against him, right? It's like, oh, wow, you looked great early in the fight. Now he's catching up with you. The ball is starting to roll downhill. Uh-oh, here it comes. And he turned it around after that and had that late rally where he was hurting Matias. And all of a sudden it was Matias who looked tired and couldn't. It was all Matias could do just to keep the physical pressure on with his body, but he wasn't getting off first anymore. His punches didn't look effective. He was, and all of that. So it was such an impressive performance from Puello that I did give him that 7-5 scorecard in my books, and also felt like I just were a fight where, man, I felt like he deserved a win for that effort, even though it was such a close fight. You can't really call it a robbery or anything.
I know, but I know boxing doesn't work this way. It's like saying you got to take the title from the champion, which isn't true. It's like saying tie goes to a runner in the baseball. That's also not true. It's all, decision.
What is true in baseball?
No, it's technically not true in the rule.
Tie doesn't go to the race.
Does not. It's still umpire's discretion ultimately.
Oh, okay. So if the umpire makes the wrong call,
no,
but
even if they get there at the same exact time, it still can be an out. But I used to scorekeeping for baseball.
So thank you for taking us down this. I'm sure people who want to get inside the box now want to get inside the first base bag with us.
The ball.
Yeah, inside the bag. You got to tease the bag a little bit. You got to have a little fun with the bag. Yeah, fun with the bag. Shout out to Freddie Roach. We'll see you in the ring on Saturday. But so are you saying that when they switch to the robot umps, which I mean, the union might make it impossible, but they could do pretty easily in baseball. when you have a tie, who's going to get if the robot has to make robots don't do judgment calls. They tell you they show you what happened. So
maybe they have the ability to actually figure out in real time the split second difference between whether the ball touched first or the foot on the bag touched first. But
we're going to put
umpires
sensors
are
in
trained
gloves
by the Major League Baseball rule book. Like umpires are trained that it's tie doesn't go to the runner. It's in the moment, which one you thought got there first. Even
Stop
with
that crap.
anyway,
don't
anyway,
tell me
here's
this.
the deal.
This is bullshit. I hate it. I hate it.
All right, I'm going on like a 1994 reference point
I'm sure
right now.
Now, look, you're so confident that I know you're right, but this is just some. Sometimes the leagues just figure out ways to make shit dumber than it needs to be. Like we know how baseball works. Tie goes to the run.
Even though it doesn't work this way, even though it's really who wins more rounds. Like Dan Rafield tweeted on Saturday, it's who wins 7 rounds. It's not about taking the fight from the champion. I still had trouble seeing the guy who won was the guy who gassed out, lost 5 of the last 6 rounds on my scorecard, came in the same straight line over and over again. And on top of that, we got sound from Pacquiao post-fight.
Take one round at a time, let him shoot his low, and then down the stretch, do what we do best.
When did you think that the fight was starting to turn when he had shot his load and you could come out?
When he started shooting his low in the first half of the fight.
Yeah, the guy damn near shot his damn load.
He started shooting it early in the fight. It's true.
All right, here's what I don't love, and I'm not going to love everything about the Turkey experience. But even Eddie Hearn would reveal later, there was no talk about Dalton Smith being rushed in as the next opponent, and Turkey in the moment sort of like, Dalton, go in the ring, you're next, and then he faced him off. All right, he's the guy that makes the fights. Even that I'll accept. What I can't accept was they're interviewing Subriel Matias, asking him if he's okay with, what cops like, what do you think about fighting Dalton Smith? Subriel starts to answer in Spanish. Mm-hmm. Turkey cuts him off, literally grabs the microphone from him, pulls it and goes, no. You're fighting in November. Yeah. You're fighting in November. And then Matias has to be switched to English and go, you want action? Me. And dude, I don't think this is how we do it, right? You know what I mean? Like, you just come in and be like, nope, sorry, you're fighting this guy on this date. This is how the box works now?
That's not how men do, Brian. I don't care. Like Dalton Smith, get that. Does he have is he the mandatory or something for that?
I think he's the mandatory.
Is he Frank Warren's guy? Is he Eddie's guy? He's certainly belongs to one of those
Hearn's guy. Yeah, he's Eddie Hearn's guy. And Turkey's very favorable to UK boxing and boxers. Maybe that's the DAZN connection. Maybe that's because Frank and Eddie are 2 of his biggest clients. But I just didn't like that he literally pulled the mic out of his hand and was like, no. You're in a fight ain't over. Fight ain't over. You're fighting in November or we kill you.
Look, that's not necessarily true. I think that if Matias isn't ready to go by November, they'll probably wait for him. We got plenty of dates. Who cares, man? Matias, he'll get a nice win off of that guy, right? We'll have a nice gutted bloke who, really had a great camp, felt great on the night, has no excuses, and put his heart out there, and just got steamrolled by a better fighter, and we'll all have that moment. We'll enjoy it. I don't know what do you
think of this from Jay right here? Turkey slowly introducing the Dana UFC structure. Seems like people ain't realizing that.
So explain that to me as someone who does not know the intricacies of the UFC structure.
I mean, I guess
you fight when I say you fight, or else we're gonna blackball you or kind of demote you.
Yeah, the basic premise is you can turn down fights, and people do, but you often are shuttled to the back of the line.
You might not get the call next time.
Yeah.
I guess, what was the Schofield fight when he fought Tevin Farmer? What was that on? Was that just a regular Golden Boy card?
Yeah.
All right. Look, I think we actually have a case to monitor here, because
one of those was on Riyadh season, I think.
Listen, I don't really care. I just mean, like, let's see if we make the scope. If we have sort of a recent case where, Schofield left HE out in the biggest way, right? I mean, he got to fight week, showed up, and then somehow got poisoned, and which also makes it look like Turkey and the kingdom don't have control over their own environment, that someone was able to poison him inside the hotel, blah, which is, probably not, possibly, well, we don't know. Might not be true. Might just be an excuse. Could have just gotten sick. Who knows? In any case, Schofield is someone who really did. I think he's a good test for this case. Is he going to get put in the back of the line? Because now there's a real good reason to make Stevenson versus Schofield next. And Stevenson just had a really great performance on a Ring Turkey HE card. So if we see them, if Turkey's like, I don't like the Floyd Schofield, he's not, he's still a kid, he's not a man or something, or compares him to, I don't know, Daffy Duck or whatever Looney Tune he looks up next. If that happens, then maybe, he's introducing that. But right now, Turkey is just like, he doesn't know what he's talking about. I guess it's hard for me to imagine this evil mastermind takeover situation. All he's doing is throwing money around and being like, you'll do this, right? Because I'll keep paying. If you won't do it, well, how about some more money? I'll give you some more money. You could do it then, right? And also, you think Matias doesn't want to fight a lot and get paid a lot for fights?
I can't speak Spanish. Mike Grand is saying that Matias was actually in Spanish in the middle of saying that Dalton's his next fight when Turkey grabbed the mic and told him his business.
You go. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, what about, this guy's going to be gutted.
Okay, but what about those journalists that Turkey and Saudi killed?
He was the best guy around.
What about the people he murdered?
What murder?
And we get the fights we want, we can shut up, okay?
They say he murdered, all right? I didn't I wasn't there at the embassy. I wasn't in Istanbul then.
They also want to know, Mr. C, was Turkey on the Epstein list, Rafe?
I doubt he was on the list. I'm sure he's got an island though.
Okay, all right. We'll leave that at that. I really like that fight, by the way. Shout out to Pacquiao, man. I really enjoyed that fight. We'll see if Ring 4 on Saudi soil can give us those same feels. Let's get into it this weekend, Rafe. Holy crap, it's time, bro. I mean, did you see the Brian Norman scuffle with Haney?
Yes, I did. I sure did.
And that white t-shirt got like stripped and stretched.
Once again, Jolene Mazzone steals the show. I mean,
Jolene was throwing punches. Was she not throwing punches in that?
I mean, I don't know if you could. That look, I think legally speaking, that's a punch. I don't know if it's something you want to get worked up over. Oh my God, she was throwing punches. But yeah, she balled her fist and threw it over the top at one of the security guys.
Indeed. Sorry, there's somebody at the door. I don't know who this is. I'm trying to see through the crowd.
You got some CCTV or some Ring cameras going there?
Some lady, I'm like, what are you selling?
Dude, I don't even have the doorbell.
Are you my mother-in-law? Who are you? All right, I don't know. We'll speak at that another time.
It's HE coming to deliver a message.
It's HE. Yes, it's HE. We've heard your shit, and there it is. Let's get into this weekend. It's a loaded weekend. We'll find out whether you care in the order of the fights tomorrow morning. Breakfast at Wimbledon, Sydney, Australia. Sonny Boy Williams versus Paul Gallen. 8 rounds heavyweights. Are you in?
No. What the hell are we talking about?
Aussie boxing in the morning.
I kind of like that, but no, I still don't care.
All right. What about Friday night? DAZN, Orlando, Florida. Man, DAZN has a lot of bootleg boxing on.
There's real boxing this week. What are we doing?
Gergen Hovinason versus Chris Thomas, 10 rounds heavyweights.
Gergen, is that like, shout out to Bill Detloff and Gurgle.com.
Yeah. Also on Friday from Liberia, Costa Rica, Yokasta Valle will defend her women's WBC strawweight title against Rocio Gaspar. No TV.
I don't care. Good.
All right. Let's not go in order anymore. Let's hit what we need to. Hank Williams, Rafe, as the Pacquiao historian on the show, can you tell us the tale of Manny's brutal KO loss to Bunsai 3K Battery in 1999? That put Manny's record at 26-2, yet he went on to such greatness, did he not?
Absolutely. Well, look, I think there's the main story on that fight, at least back in Manila, was that was when Manny started to feel himself a little bit too much. That was like he was getting, he won his first title in 1998 and was riding high. It's like, and they said basically that he didn't train well to fight 3K Battery. And you could see
I thought it was Fastan 3K Battery, no?
Listen. That's why I just said 3K battery, right? I mean, as long as it's someone in the CP Fresh Mart 3K battery knockout factory, like that's some Thailand guy. He did not train as hard as he should have for that Thailand guy, and also he was still so raw. You watch that fight, and this is still the Manny who, I mean, I think that's still before the Nadal Hussein fight where he has to gut it out to. I mean, he's still all over the place in the ring, and really just fighting on aggression, wild aggression, one-handed left, incredible explosiveness, and that left hand that has been there for his entire life. And it's just not enough in that case when he also, at least, according to popular legend, didn't train very well for that fight, had a hard time making weight, was drained, fought listlessly, got beat. And they say that he learned from it and clearly did go on to greatness.
There we go. Very wonderful Filipino history.
Also, that he was trying that the other part of that story is that he, had outgrown that weight class. That finally his body was getting too big to stay all the way down. What was that like? That was below bantam, wasn't it?
That was down in like Chocolatito territory. Yeah. Let's get to modern days. Welterweight, 4.5 years removed from a real fight, a loss to Yordenis Ugas that Manny did explain in our fighter meetings yesterday ahead of Saturday's card that he had cramping in the third round of that fight that he's never experienced before, and that the cramps carried on until the rest of the bout. Of course,
body part?
What
body part was cramping?
Calves.
Wait, he's been having the calf cramps since forever.
Okay. But that's his justification. Also, obviously, he came back in that ill-advised 3-round exhibition against Rukia Ampo, the 160-pound kickboxer who was throwing haymakers at him. What he's going to try to do on Saturday is going to be difficult. It's absolutely legit. At 46, coming back against 30-year-old WBC welterweight title holder Mario Barrios. Pacquiao is about a 3-1 underdog, though, and the money continues to come in. That's making the odds closer. In all reality here, Rafe, I want to believe. The PBC gloves off makes me want to believe as the pre-fight series goes. The pre-fight documentaries always make you want to believe. Is this going to be a celebration or a funeral? What are we walking into Saturday night?
I don't know, man. You're talking to the wrong guy. Where I not only do I want to believe, I can't help but believe, and it's paired perfectly with a fighter like Barrios, who to me has always been, he's right there for the taking, and that doesn't. I mean, there's a real chance of
talking about.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, he can be beaten by any other good boxer. All the way back. How many, he's gotten so many gifts over the years from Batir Akhmedov to the Abel Ramos fight to, all of it. Like he is lucky to be there.
He gets hurt. He gets hurt in big fights.
Right. And if you wanted to pick anyone with a prayer of losing to Manny at age 46 after a 4.5-year layoff, it would be this kind of fighter, right? Someone who seems to, wind up in exchanging and getting into, doesn't mind getting into a war, might not be able to keep himself out of wars, no matter what the case, no matter who the opponent is. Someone who, despite being a 6-foot former junior welterweight, now fighting at welterweight, struggles with smaller fighters, right? I mean, like got bossed around the ring by Gervonta Davis back in the day. He makes me believe in Manny as much as I want to believe in Manny. And I don't know, I want to just let go and tell my brain to take a walk and say, look, Manny can do this. He is a freak. He's always been a freak. And he's got one more night of freakishness in him.
He keeps saying, Manny, in all these interviews, and I've been watching closely that, and he said it yesterday as well, that I've got surprises for the fans. I hope that means insane PEDs. That's what I hope that means. But I did talk to Mario Barrios yesterday as well during the fighter meetings and brought up that Abel Ramos fight the last time he fought, which was on the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson undercard. And he said there were a lot of different things that went on with that training camp. He said he felt good, but things were really going right for him until he got caught. Then he just felt like he couldn't find his rhythm after getting caught. And he said, look, we got a call from Manny immediately after that fight. That's when the discussion started. So he believes that Manny was watching that fight. His team saw a weakness, and he thinks that they saw a very beatable style. And he thinks ultimately he's going to absolutely, blow them away by stepping up and not having those issues. If he's going to be the best of who he is at 30 years old with that length, he might be the tallest fighter Manny ever fought. We could see some problems here. In your heart of hearts, are you going to be watching to see if Manny can pull the upset, or more watching to make sure Manny doesn't get beaten from pillar to post and, left for dead in the center of the ring? Like, are you thinking he's got a shot, or are you hoping more that he can lose competitively, save face, and we go, okay, he tried it?
No, I already told you, man. I have whatever, name the color glasses you want. 3 stars and a sun colored glasses on right now, because I'm tuning in to hopefully see Manny pull off the upset. I don't like, you could convince me. I just think that I can see him still having enough gas in the tank and enough Alex Ariza gas in the tank to pull this off. Because and it's not just because Manny is an all-time great, and he's going to be on every designer cocktail known to man, including the next level hydrogen water with his face on it. He's eating all the Pacquiao produce. He's eating the broccoli. He's eating all of his pistachios that he used to sell over the years.
But Load Watch is a real thing, as Ham Sandwich will tell you, as Ham Sammy will chime in with.
I think there's obviously a real chance that he just doesn't have it. He comes out and looks like an absolute old man who has no business being in that ring. If it's not that, I think he's winning this fight.
Wow. That is as simple as you can say it. We had Chris Algieri on MK yesterday, and he was fantastic. We didn't really talk avocados much, but what he basically said was that first step that Manny has, even in old age, is so alarmingly fast when you're fighting him that he just leaps into, essentially right in your guard, and he's there hitting you with shots you don't see coming. He could still have that in flashes. My biggest concern for him is the fact that, he was already transitioning in the mid-teens, mid-2010s to not being able to fight for 3 minutes a round and trying to pick his spots. I do think you can go back in history and see the areas where maybe he wasn't at full strength for the Horn fight, or even the Ugas fight. Like, there's times
especially the Ugas fight.
Yeah, there's times that Manny kind of coasted on his ability and his busy schedule. I have the fear that he might actually be competitive for the first half, but in that second half, it's going to be a lot of high guard, you know what I mean? Almost like where Canelo was against Bivol in the second half of that fight, where he's just trying to find some air while he's just getting lit up. I don't want to see that, man. I don't. You know what I'm saying?
That'll be hard to watch. Look, I can't. I don't know. I am genuinely irrational about this. It does have to do with Barrios being the one kind of opponent who I think this kind of crazy ass gambit can still work against. In that case, it is so well matched, because if you had him fighting Brian Norman Jr. or Boots when he still had it, or come on, it's just that would be insane and dangerous. And unfortunately, if Manny actually does pull this off, it's exactly the kind of situation it leads to from there. But I don't know, man. I just think that he's such a once in a lifetime athlete that there still could be enough to do something here.
Does 4 years off to heal the mind and body when he's literally been a pro for 30 freaking years? Is that something?
Yes, that's something. But it's also hard to judge, because usually the way that we kind of decide what sort of form a fighter is in. So we look at them in their most recent fights, which even in this era of inactivity is not going to be more than 2 years out in most cases, usually at most a year or so. And you're able to say, all right, this is the track that this fighter has been on. There is no way, there's no track. Manny's been off the track. That can't help him. It can't help him. But like he still, so it makes it, I guess it would be easier for me to write him off if I'd seen him look terrible in the last year, because then I would know. But right now I don't know. So all I have is my heart saying he's gonna bang the gloves together. He's gonna lace them up. And Barrios will give him opportunities. It might be ugly. He might not win. It could turn into just like a sloppy Super Bowl. But you know what? I like Manny's chances in a sloppy Super Bowl. He's still powerful. He's still going to be hard. I think he's still got that gigantic ass, Alex Ariza fueled head. That is, unless you're on everything that Memo is bringing from his pharmacy, you're going to have a problem hurting Manny.
I have to say, though, the September 2023 victory for Barrios against Yordenis Ugas, the last guy to fight Pacquiao, who also beat him, that was a 12-round wide unanimous decision, 118 to 107 on all three scorecards. That was probably the best version of Barrios. He stuck to boxing early. He rose to this, when there were moments that he could hurt Ugas, he stepped in and did that. But more often than not, that's not who Barrios is. It's just not, dude. He can get taken off script so quickly, like we saw in the Abel Ramos fight, like we saw in the Thurman fight, where, he really wasn't in that like he was in the Tank fight. Will Bob Santos ultimately be saying this in the corner at all to Barrios?
He can't handle your speed, son.
Or will Manny still have that? Roy still had the hand speed late. Way later than he should have. He still had it.
I think what we want is some amount of foot speed from Manny, like Algieri has been saying, and also just enough, because he's going to need to close the distance and get close enough to land some punches on Barrios. And if he really can't pick his feet up, then that's going to be a problem. Then he's just going to be a stationary. It's going to look like Mike Tyson standing there getting punched by a bum last year.
Rafe, if Pacquiao wins, Mr. C wants to know, will you cook lechon for us on the next in this?
I would like to cook lechon for people. That's a big commitment. I would need to dig a pit out here, get a spit, get a suckling pig. I would need manpower.
You talking about Hawk Tua or what?
No, like a stick. I'm sure she might have been, you know what I'm saying.
Spit on that thing. Let's go.
That kind of spit too. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to derail your happiness right there, but that's okay. Ultimately, my prediction would be a Barrios unanimous decision win, where the final third is an old Manny really trying to avoid. I think we see a knockdown. I think Manny gets knocked down. Maybe like the knockdown against Marquez in the fourth fight early, where you're just like, oh shit, I don't know when the last time it was that I saw Manny down. That's alarming. I think he survives in the end, 9 rounds to 3. Barrios gets on top. What are you looking at here?
I think again, nobody take me seriously right now. But I can really only see one thing, man. Like I see him doing something to get everyone's attention. Like Manny will surprise us, like he did against Thurman in that first round, when it's like, oh shit, he just knocked Thurman down.
I'm gonna be losing my shit on the broadcast if he's coming on early. Okay, if he's coming on early
and has some of those moments, and again, and then that knockdown of Thurman with the body shot later in the fight that sort of put it out of reach, even though Thurman was rallying. That is the kind of performance against a lower level opponent who will give him opportunities to do that. I think Barrios will give Manny will come to Manny in ways that allow him, make his job easier. And at that point, if he still has, some pop left in that left hand, if he can still surprise him with it, I think that Manny wins this by like this, with a decision, with a knockdown or two.
All right. there's a middle ground between us. It's that Manny knocks Barrios down in the first half and then fades in the second half and loses a 7-5, 8-4.
Manny, there's no way in hell Manny loses a close decision, right? I mean, like if it's a close fight, it is whoever's there, Glenn Feldman, Don Trella, all of the PBC plants, right? That Paulie used to have problems with. They better be seated ringside with scorecards, giving that gift to Manny.
The problem, Judge Glenn Feldman,
in the ballpark,
just made Jake Paul take a knee in their settlement. He'll do the same to you. Okay.
All right. Well, is your boy going to be judging this one?
I do not know that. He was there Saturday for Turkey Ring 3. I do not know yet. I'm going to guess he is, but I'll reach out to him.
The judges.
Yeah,
Steve
probably.
Weisfeld going to be there?
Probably. Chinchilla, if it turns sad, does it make for a tough call?
For who?
Yeah, for me, I guess, on the call.
I see.
Yeah, it would. I got a lot of love for Manny. It would. But, like Barrios told me yesterday, he goes, if I got a chance, if I heard him and I got a chance to finish him, I will not be thinking about my fandom for him. I'll be getting him the hell out of there because he would do the exact same to me. That's where it is. That's where it is. All right.
I think that's appropriate. That's what he should do.
I don't stand by this comment, but the people have questions.
I mean, listen, I'm Mr. 110%. All right. I'm never slacking. All right. So yes, but that's not going to be just because of Manny. It's just because that's, I come correct.
Okay. Maybe we'll see Manny do Manny things and bang the gloves, right? Like Berlanga was banging cheeks.
Hopefully not the way that Berlanga was when he was on his back being like, I'm going to jump up and then fall down. Yeah.
I didn't like that at all. All right, let's go to that co-main. Sebastian Fundora will defend his WBC 154 title, not the WBO. He had to give that up in order to not defend it against mandatory Xander Zayas, but he did it to fight Tim Tszyu a second time. And Tim Tszyu seems to be reborn from the 2 losses last year. He blew away a Joey Spencer, who he's supposed to in Australia earlier this year. When you look at this fight, is it just, hey, let's go back and figure out where that fight was headed originally before the cut? Because originally for 2.5 rounds, Tszyu was putting it on Fundora. Or do you think Fundora has used the last year to truly improve and truly become a better fighter? What type of fight are we looking at on Saturday?
No, I think Fundora is who we think Fundora is, who he has been. He's the same fighter. I do think that the bloom is off the kazoo. The last year, like, I don't think that Tim Tszyu is the same fighter. He doesn't have the same aura. He's probably, nor should he. He's sort of, the Murtazalia fight was complete exposure.
Took his soul.
Yeah.
Took his whole soul.
And I'm going to need to see something more than beating Joey Spencer. And did he have another bum fight in between?
No.
So
he was supposed to fight Thurman, and then he went right into it.
He should have look that I would have, especially because Thurman still, it's hard for him to get into the ring more than once every 3 years, but he still is a quality fighter. He showed that against that weird random underwear model that he beat in Down Under. Anyway, yeah, exactly. I agree. He took the beating he took was brutal. The knockout against Murtazalia was rough. I think that he's, I don't think I favor Fundora in this fight, even if Fundora, he can be hit. He's going to do some irresponsible things with that giant frame of his. But still, he's going to come in and put it on that guy. And I don't think Tszyu is ready for that anymore. I don't think he survives that kind of thing anymore.
I was pretty surprised in the fighter meeting yesterday that Fundora was speaking in the third person, calling himself Fundora the entire time. And any question that even had a negative hint, he was like getting a little chippy. And finally, Mark Ortega, shout out to that guy, our statistician, was like, what's up with this? And then he was like, oh, sorry, I've been watching a lot of WWE lately. I'm trying to become better at trash talk. I'm still of the belief that Tim is the better fighter, that it's not going to be easy. It's never going to be easy against Fundora. Fundora's confidence has soared since that victory. Because remember, he's coming off the Brian Mendoza KO loss, took that fight on last minute notice when Thurman got hurt 2 weeks out. And now, I know Cordell Booker wasn't a killer, but he looked fantastic in getting him out of there. I still think Tim is going to find that right cross on the chin of Fundora pretty consistently. I don't know if it'll be a blood and guts gnarly war. It probably should still be an action fight given their pedigrees, but I'm the opposite of you. I'm of the belief that Tim is the rightful small betting favorite. He's got better skills. I'm not going to act like the last year doesn't matter on mental and physical toll, but I feel like the interviews I've seen, I feel like he's saying the right things, yo.
Well, I don't know. Good for Timmy. I just, he ain't that guy. We thought, we got excited, but like, you got to do more than beat. Did he beat Jeff Horn? Did he end Jeff Horn run?
He did, I believe. Believe he did. Jeff Horn. Good. Yeah, right, Jeffrey. Are you excited for this fight?
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, shoot, I think there's no way this is close to a can't miss fight. I think just the flaws that both fighters have, the aggression that they both bring into the ring, the fact that they think that they probably both have a reason to think, hey, I should blow this guy out. And that's kind of how they approach a lot of their fights, and sometimes it gets them in trouble. But I think it'll make for a really entertaining fight.
All right, we got another rematch, this time at 140. It was a 10-rounder in February when it happened. I called it. Now it's a 12-rounder. Isak Pitbull Cruz against Angel Fierro of Tijuana. I think Fierro surprised Cruz the first time by being so big, long, sturdy. I did talk to Cruz yesterday, and he was like, yo, I don't even think that fight was close at all. This guy's not on my level, like not at all. He didn't hurt me one bit. He hit me in the back of the head that one time. I'm expecting an absolute war here, but what I think is interesting is I'm not fully convinced Pitbull is a 140 fighter. He said he could still make 35 for a big one, and he would do it, but he likes himself at 40. I feel like he doesn't have enough variety to his game, and when you're in there with somebody who's a lot bigger than you, although he says, I only fight people bigger than me, I think we saw some limitations last time out. Am I wrong?
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, this guy's look, Pitbull's fun as hell, and people love to watch him fight. He's got a great look. His style is very, fan friendly, but saw some limitations. He's been showing limitations in every fight we've ever seen him in. Like,
except for Tank, he fought well against Tank.
Sure, he's a good fighter, but a limited one. And yes, the idea that should be comfortable at 140, that's insane. This is like when Isaac Dogbe was talking about, I'm going to win a championship at 122 pounds and then 126 pounds, all the way up to welterweight. It's like, my man, you were 5'1". That ain't working. It's the same story with Pitbull. Maybe he makes weight more comfortably there because obviously he has a stocky build on that short frame, but it's not. The trade-off for fighting at that higher weight class is he's going to be giving up so much reach and length and height and natural strength, all these other things to opponents in general, that he's a fighter who doesn't have all the advantages, period, ever. Spotting his opponent's extra advantages to fight at a higher weight class. So yeah, it's dangerous for him. I don't think it suits him well. It is, but he's still going to make a fun fight. The first one was awesome. There's no reason to believe that this won't be. Look, to expect another classic, that was like a minor classic the first time around.
Yep. To
expect it to play out like that again is unfair, but it's also easy to see. It's easy to talk ourselves into, because that's what Pitbull is going. He's going to create the circumstances for an awesome action fight every time out. So I'm looking.
Can he outbox him? Do you think? Because really, Pitbull boxed really good against Tank on short notice. Tank also had an injured hand, but do you think if Pitbull committed to boxing, he could stay out of trouble here?
No.
Okay.
I also don't think he will.
Fierro has a 6-inch reach, a 3-inch height advantage. It's not nothing. So what about Joette Gonzalez? I beat Joette. I left with his sister.
It's time to start talking about Dubois is what I think.
And Brandon. So, okay, I'll tell you this. Brandon Figueroa told me that he can't explain why he sucked against Fulton in the rematch, but that he went out, told his dad, I'm sorry, we got to cut ties in the corner. We're bringing in Manny Robles. And he says he is coming for the Brandon of old in this fight, and he's going to be all over Joette.
Great. This is a fun matchup. Neither of them is great shakes at this point in their careers. Joette kind of has never gotten over the hump. This could be if Brandon Figueroa does not find a close approximation of the earlier version of himself, he could be in trouble in this, and it could be a good opportunity for Joette, who has always been credible and solid in the ring.
But he loses when he steps up.
Right. Just doesn't quite have that next. And I don't think that even if he happens to win against Brandon Figueroa is going to mean that Joette is suddenly a real person to watch out for in the weight class. It just means that he caught Brandon Figueroa at the right moment, and he'll deserve a good, payday fight off of it in which someone probably beats him in a step-up fight.
And the stakes is winner gets the other one's sister. I mean, we got to go through Barrios for that though, but I beat
Polly. I left with his belt and his girl.
All right, you're right. Also did want to mention that Gary Russell Jr. is back on this undercard on the regular Prime non-pay-per-view featured prelims against Hugo Castaneda. We'll also see Alan David Picasso Romero, who is now going to be going by David Picasso. He will be taking on Kosuke Kameda, and then we'll get Mark Magseo back as well. So check that out. Let's go to the heavyweight championship, the undisputed one, and a big ass rematch Saturday. 96,000 expected. Not quite 80K, is it? At Wembley Stadium when Alexander Usyk and Dubois run it back. 2 years later, things have changed. You'll remember Dubois nearly had a low blow knockout against Usyk before floundering, gassing out, and getting stopped in round 9 late in their first meeting. Since then, our boy Usyk went 12 hard-ass rounds twice with Fury. And Dubois has blown away people, starting with Big Baby Miller, who he stopped late, then nearly winning Fighter of the Year last year by blowing through Ergovich for the vacant title, and then blowing away Anthony Joshua. Is Daniel Dubois a lot more than just a live dog entering this undisputed championship rematch on Saturday?
Listen, Usyk deserves to be the favorite, right? I mean, he looked more complete at heavyweight against Tyson Fury in the second win, I think, than he has ever looked at the weight. He looked more like he filled out his all 225, 230 pounds that he's carrying around now. That's looking like more and more muscle in each fight. And I thought it was an outstanding performance from him. So on one hand, it's Usyk. He deserves to be favored in this fight. However, you can't take his age and the possible wear and tear of those fights of never really having a soft touch in the last decade of his career for Usyk. I mean, it's just a murderer's row throughout divisions. So all of that, you going to do it?
No, I'm not going to do it.
Good. Don't do it. All of that is there's a chance that age and those factors do sort of catch up to him, but we haven't seen it yet. It would be, I think, if you think that's going to happen in this fight, I'm curious what you've seen before, or are you just sort of rolling the dice? Are you taking a free roll on, hey, everybody loses eventually, and sometimes you don't see it coming.
Not that.
Yeah, I think that, but Dubois, what I love about this fight and Dubois in this moment, Daniel Dubois is going to do what Anthony Joshua should have done as a heavyweight fighting Alexander Usyk in their 2 fights, because he's not all twisted up in the head AJ style. He doesn't overthink stuff. He doesn't have this weird sort of doubting his abilities. I need to go learn how to box, learn how to, go add a couple new things to the toolbox. No, Daniel Dubois is going to go out and use the advantage that he has as a big, strong, explosive 27-year-old heavyweight, riding high, coming off stoppage wins at a high level, including knocking out AJ and convincingly winning that fight. He's going to come out there and try and put it on the smaller man in the way that AJ should have if he could have.
I think you nailed it.
Yeah.
I think he's going to do what we've been waiting for Fury, Joshua to do in 4 fights, which is commit to being the bigger man against this smaller skilled heavyweight and walking him down. Now, it's obviously easier said than done, and Tyson Fury even found out the hard way. Anthony Joshua found out at points in that first fight where those left crosses are stiff, accurate, quick, and hard from Usyk. But I have heard Dubois routinely say in this buildup, he goes, I am going to walk through whatever I have to in order to get to him. That's exactly what he did against Joshua. He showed a cyborg mindset. He wasn't worried about anything, as you mentioned. He didn't need to be 4 days in a dark chamber. He's like, I'm going through this guy. I cannot believe he's not 30 yet, by the way. This guy's been around forever. We've called him a quitter 3 separate times, right? And look who he is now. I'm wondering if this is the fight where, not that it all catches up with Usyk, but maybe it looks a little bit like the Chisora fight. Maybe this is the guy that can push back past the stop signs, that can take a couple of those left crosses and not be thinking, oh shit, I might not get knocked out. He might be thinking the opposite. He might be thinking, I got to step it up even more now and make this a war. Could that lead to him getting gassed out and solved? Sure. But I think we're going to see Usyk under fire in this fight. And I don't know where it goes after that. I mean, it probably goes to a third fight if it gets hairy, but like, I'm into this, man.
No, it's super. I think it's such an intriguing matchup because, Dubois is the prototypical, like, athletic, strong, power punching heavyweight right in his athletic prime, or right at the beginning of the prime of his career, has had the experience now of coming back from losses and built himself back up into a champion, is sort of right in the point of his career where if somebody is going to be able to pull this off, if someone is going to catch Usyk with the perfect shot that knocks him down, that changes a fight and puts him on Q Street, and Dubois is the person in the position to do that, and he has the mindset. He's not, again, and he tried to do that a little bit in their first fight, and I think that's how, like, you're not going to outthink, out-strategize, out-move, out-box Usyk. If you do that, you're playing his game, and he's already beaten, AJ, really, who I give credit for fighting well, but given his all in those fights, and couldn't do it. Fury fought really well in some of those fights, pulled out everything in the toolbox, couldn't do it. You're not going to outbox him at this point in his career. You are, but Dubois is fast. He's explosive, long. He can catch Usyk with something because anybody could get caught. And like, that is sort of to me, like that's a real possibility in this fight. And then is it a punch that changes the fight? Is it a punch that ends the fight? Is it a punch that, makes Usyk rally and do something we've never seen before? It's an exciting fight at this moment because of what Dubois can do. And again, because of his mindset, because he fights exactly how he should, right? He's just, he has a great jab and a huge right hand behind it. And
I think he's exposing himself as having a one-track mind.
Yeah.
He's just, I'm not going to go the route of everybody else calling him names we shouldn't say, but he is focused on one thing, and that's becoming undisputed champion, which he had to go through a lot of hell to get there in his career, but he got there. Credit to him. This is a real fight, and we're only going to get probably this one and one more for Usyk. Really, I mean, if you take his words. So I'm really going to be enjoying this one Saturday early afternoon before that Pacquiao fight gets going right there. What is your ultimate prediction in the end? Because I cannot pick against Usyk, even though I know this is going to be a very, very hard fight. I just can't do that. I cannot do that. I imagine you standing on the top of that mountain next to the Hollywood sign with your Usyk coat going like this. I have that picture in my phone. All right. I'm a DAZN subscriber. Okay. Does Usyk get this done?
If you ask me, yes, I think that he still he's the deserved favorite. And I think that he's still at the peak of his powers, or at least in terms of the heavyweight version of him in his late 30s. He still is that guy, and he hasn't shown any. I think he's gotten better in all of his heavyweight fights. I'm interested in it because of the new challenge, the sort of different challenge that Dubois offers. But again, I think that if you are sitting here calling for say I'm calling the upset right now, that's a free roll. There's no reason to think that Dubois actually is going to pull this off. You think he can? Yes, I think he can too. I see ways for him to win, but this is still Usyk. He has fought a lot of guys, not as many at heavyweight, right? But at cruiserweight, he fought a lot of killers, guys who knocking out everything that came in front of them, and planned and saw that, Usyk, he doesn't have quite as much power. He's a lot of, moves around the ring a lot, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I think I can knock him out. Glowatsky, how'd that work out? Gassiev out, like not even in that fight for a moment. Like Usyk can Marco Hook, all these guys, they're not, it doesn't work. It didn't work for them. I think, odds are it's not going to work again for Dubois, but he has a chance.
Is this an HE event, or is this just a?
It's got to be HE.
Yeah, it's got to be, right. I mean, I know it's
It may not be Ring 4 or whatever the fuck we're calling
right.
it. It might be Riyadh season 55, but it's all. I mean,
it's a Frank Warren. Frank Warren, the lead promoter, probably, right? Yeah, probably. Interesting. Do you care about the co-main, Lawrence Oakley against Kevin Lorena, 12 rounds heavyweights? Because this ain't deep like a normal HE card. That's why I'm asking.
I don't know if I care. They've been around the block. We know. Yeah, look, it's
this
a competitive
undercard sucks.
Fight.
Say it out loud. It sucks.
Okay, it sucks.
It's UK heavy.
I mean, you got it. There's always some charm in that. Come on, bloke.
All right. Also this weekend, I wonder if they regret going this weekend on Saturday. Frisco, Texas, DAZN. Jesse Bam Rodriguez, the pound for pound ranked individual, will have a unification at junior bantamweight against Fumalele Kafu. Now, the bigger story surrounding this, Rafe, is that Bam Rodriguez, who's on this long build to an eventual Inoue fight, is already signed to fight Puma Fernando Martinez of Argentina in another unification fight on that Ring 4 Night of Champions card in November. In fact, he paused his training camp to fly to New York to do the press conference this weekend. Is that an issue in your eyes under Turkey's new plan of scheduling 5 fights in advance for Bam this weekend, who is a more than 10-1 favorite against Kafu?
Look, I think that's an issue for Turkey, for HE and his planning committee with Ring 25 or whoever or Riyadh season 66. Bam's job is to take this one fight at a time and win on Saturday. I think he knows that. If he doesn't know that, then that's not good for his approach to this fight. It doesn't mean he still can't win. I watched Fumalele Kafu's win, his upset over Kosei Tanaka. It was deserved, but close, and Tanaka just retired. He's had these eye problems. He's not the fighter that we all thought was going to be a world beater anymore, and it probably had to do with these injuries. Watching Kafu fight in that, unless he's got some sort of just otherworldly fight-changing power that Bam has not seen anywhere, and he's fine. Bam has not taken soft punches unless there's some X factor with Kafu that we haven't that we can't predict. Bam should have his way with him.
Bam is so good. So Bam has this fight, then Martinez in November. He said he wants Inoue after that. Inoue has MJ Akhmadaliev in September. Picasso told me yesterday that he thinks he could be fighting Inoue in December, which is a short turnaround, but maybe we get these two next year. I mean, that's a big ass fight. Of course, I want Yuto Nakatani first against Inoue. I'd rather wait that out, but that's one day a really, really big fight. So I'm really excited about that. Martinez is not going to be an easy out though at all. Puma can fight when we get there, but first Bam's got to get this done. Diego Pacheco, Trevor McCombie, 12-round super middleweights in that co-main. Love this fight. Need to see this fight. Also, my guy Austin Ammo Williams, who I've come around on, he'll be taking on Etinosa Oliha in an IBF middleweight eliminator. I think Ammo is going to fight for a title soon, dude. He's good. He's getting.
You could keep him. You could keep that guy if you want him.
You don't like that guy?
Nah, he ain't nothing special.
All right. Also, Saturday, no American TV, Monterrey, Mexico. RG Cortez will take on Andrew Maloney of Australian Maloney Brothers fame in a junior bantamweight title eliminator. Do you care?
No.
Also Saturday, former secondary welterweight title holder in Moscow, Rajab Butayev, the same guy who lost to Staniotis, we never heard from him again, will take on Jose Miguel Borrego, 10 rounds junior welterweights. You don't care.
Don't really care. Don't really care.
All right. I guess that's all the care that you have left for one weekend, but it's a great weekend coming up this Saturday. I cannot wait. Are you going to be watching it all? Are you going to watch all of the box?
I will definitely be watching. Like, I can't miss these fights. These are fighters I've been invested in for a long time. I love them, man. I got to watch it.
Yeah, I mean, deep in the box. I started a couple questions. We'll close with those. Thank you, Cosmo Kramer, for your support of this podcast. Rafe, Detroit style pizza is ass. Do you agree? I've never had it. What do you say?
Look, I'm more of a thinner crust, hand pulled crust, blah, blah, blah style
like
pizza.
A New York style or New Haven style?
Well, look, I don't even really understand what New Haven style pizza is.
Why don't you come and have some of that?
It just seems like fake New York pizza every time I eat it. But people say it's great. So congratulations, New Haven. Shout out to well, no, he's from Hartford. Shout out to Chad Dawson.
He's from New Haven, by the way.
Oh, all right. I was right. Hey, all right.
He lives in North Haven these days. Yes.
Nice. Anyway, Detroit pizza, I think it's okay. One slice is good. Anything beyond that, you feel like
what's it like, stuffed crust or something?
No, it's deep dish, square, rectangular deep dish pizza with this sort of they cook it in these high pans where you get a nice caramelized crunchiness with the cheese on the crust on the edges.
Okay, I want to try that.
It's
very like a souffle.
It's again. How do you feel about Chicago style?
I've never really eaten it, to be fair.
How is this possible? You're like a junk food
I grew up
connoisseur.
18 miles from New Haven, right between Boston and New York.
You've traveled the entire country calling fights.
Nah, I've only been to Chicago once and I didn't have it. Okay, I'm sorry.
Anyway, well, if you like deep dish, then you would like Detroit style, but it's not my favorite either.
Cosmo also supported us to say who has a higher ceiling, Virgil Ortiz Jr. at 54 or Boots Ennis, and I would love that fight so stinking much it's ridiculous.
I think Boots. I think you still have to go with Boots. He has flashed fewer vulnerabilities and his ceiling, if you believe in the talent, the flashes you've seen and that he's proven in some pretty big spots already, his ceiling is about as high as you can get. As MJ would say, the ceiling is the roof.
There it is. Raise that roof. And finally, from our old pal Galache, king of the red wine, new father. Anyone looking for a good time, meet me and B-Hop in the men's room closest to section 122 at Wembley on Saturday. Is he really going?
He did say to the CL&J group that he had a business trip in the UK and was able to piggyback in there. So Galache will be in there.
So the CL&J is our Twitter DMs group, the Candy Lickers and the Jackers that have been with us since day one. Okay. That's like our day one crew.
You got to start another one up and start charging people to get in there, Brian.
Oh, wow. Imagine that. They pay to see what's in our DMs. That'd be something. That'd be something right there. By the way, Galach, have a great time, dude. Take in that experience. Drink it up. Okay. Let me lick you up. Yeah.
Imagine the Cobra landing a peach of a right hand in that same arena. Imagine the birthplace of a J in that arena.
Shout out to Santine, the old man, for being here. Thank you, folks, for being here. Thank you, Ray, for going long. We could say the same about Conor McGregor after those pictures, but we won't. We definitely won't. No Irish curse. Is that photoshopped? I need answers. I got questions.
I need to do some catching up on this dong.
Yeah. There's like a weight attached to it. I don't know. There's a lot. That guy's a dick. Yeah, a big one. Rafe, what should we say about you and your future in life?
I hope that it continues
and it's prosperous. At Rafe Bugs on the socials. Buy his books. We don't say this lightly. A New York Times best selling author. Not decent, not good, best.
Taking it to the top. Tippy.
Yeah. Thank you, folks. Thank you for joining. Stick it to the box if you get the chance, but consensually. Thank you. Catch me outside. How about Saturday night, 8 p.m. Eastern is the pay-per-view PBC on Prime. Pacquiao, Barrios. I'll also be calling the 3-fight undercard. It should be a fun team here. No Mo this week. Shout out to Mauro Ranallo, but Bernardo Osuna, Abner Maris, myself. This should be a fun time. So
are you going to be sneaking out to catch any summer league basketball?
No, I don't get in until Thursday evening. You know, I'm low key. I'm low key.
Summer League is a fun scene though. It's worth it.
Do I get to see Bronny?
I don't know. Is he still playing, or has he ended his Summer League experience?
I love that every time I go into Twitter, it'd be like, "What an incredible play by Bronny," and then you click on the video and it's him like airballing a three, and you're like,
or it's like, man, did you see him? Did you see him rotate the ball? They threw it to him at the top of the key, and he passed it to the next man, and then he went and passed and cut away. Holy shit, the basketball IQ.
The same people get me with those Angel Reese where they're like, "Oh my god, what an amazing play by Reese," and then you tune in and she like doesn't even hit the rim on a jump shot, you know.
I mean, she doesn't even hit the rim on half of her layups. You know, that's the key to getting those rebounds.
Are you watching the women's game?
No.
Well, WNBA, you don't keep an ear up?
No, it's hard, man. There's too much stuff to watch in the world.
Does this have anything to do with your opinion on women's boxing or no?
No, I was a practice player for the women's team at Northwestern University.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I have a lot of respect for women's basketball. But I don't watch as much NBA as I want. I don't even watch that to the playoffs. The idea that I'm going to be sitting around all summer watching WNBA regular season, it just doesn't happen that way for me.
No. I'm gonna Den of Thieves is my next watch, so hopefully next week we'll be talking about that. All right,
effing get inside on that one, Brian.
That's the thing right there. For Rafe Bugs on BC, thank you for joining us. This is the best boxing podcast they got. So why don't we close with the best outro they got? Take care of yourselves, or maybe we'll watch this one more time. This piece of business with me and Carol All. How about that?
Just personal, whatever you want to do to bond. We
So are
may
you
cut
married?
this out later. No. Are you?
No.
Good. All right, switch places. You have 11 points. Congratulations on that.
That's a 22-year-old BC right there. All right, the old Deuce too. We're out of here. Thank you.